as two people that do a movie review show,
Right.
I don't like the word podcast. I feel it's limiting. We're a show now.
Oh,
That's what I say. I do a show now.
okay.
On public broadcast. No,
Yeah.
That's gone. We, as people who do movie reviews, pseudo quasi professionally, right? I think it's important that we state for the record our opinion on movie theaters, especially after this last weekend.
Okay. Fair.
Because you and I have very different takes on movie theaters.
We do.
So I'm going to give you the floor.
Okay.
But I'd like you to answer two questions.
Fair. The
The first question: do you enjoy your time generally in a movie theater?
Generally, yes.
Okay.
It a lot of times depends on the theater
Sure.
and the people who frequent specific theaters that I've been to.
Right.
As a 35-year-old man, sometimes it's a bit of like, hey kids, could you please be quiet?
Did you get chicken jockeyed?
No, man.
Damn shame.
And I saw that movie in a packed theater, like opening weekend.
But that was the thing.
Yeah.
You saw it opening weekend.
Right.
The chicken hadn't jockeyed yet.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think overall I tend to enjoy the movie-going experience, the theater experience.
Okay. The second question: do you prefer seeing a film in a theater more than you prefer seeing it on streaming at home?
Yeah, like absolutely.
Okay.
The reason for that, and I think the reason, because I get this question a lot, because as we've talked throughout many episodes of this show, I go to the movie theaters all the time.
All the time.
I am, part of AMC's A-list.
You're there now.
I am. Yeah, I'm there right now.
You called in. Yeah.
And I'm doing this from the bathroom. But I'm there. I see, 2 to 3 a week, typically at this point, of my allotted 4.
Yeah, you're the schmoobie.
And I'll see damn near anything. But
that's true.
The theater experience is something that I want to go and have because I like to see things. Typically, I like to see anything that's in the bigger formats. Your Dolby Cinemas.
That's my favorite.
Your IMAX, 3D, if that's an option. I've seen Dune 2 in Screen X. That's my only experience with that one.
Yeah.
Still yet to see a 4DX, but I think there's a theater in Orlando that now does it. So maybe I'll check that out. But I like to do those if I get the option because I'll never get that option again. Like I can't experience that same thing at home. As good as a TV and a sound system can be at home, you're never going to get those sorts of experiences.
Third and final kind of bonus question. Do you like people generally?
That's a tricky one.
It's not a trick question. I know it sounds like that. I'll give you time to think on that as I use that question to explain the other two in my answers. No, I usually do not have good interactions with other people, strangers or otherwise.
In theaters or in general?
Ever.
Oh.
People who know me know that I'm proud to be a good friend to people. I love my friends. I love my family. The people that are close to me that I love, I do my best to be available to and kind and courteous of. But good fucking God, do I hate a stranger. I just hate fucking people. So the problem is that when you look at the other two things, I usually have a bad time in theaters.
Yeah.
I've had a few exceptions. You and I, a really good example of a time where it was a packed theater, but we had a really good time is when we saw Furiosa. We saw Furiosa in Dolby.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. Had a great time. Because all those people were like, you know what? Let's all do that one thing we're supposed to do in this fucking building. And let's shut our fucking mouths and just sit and quietly munch whatever and just shut the fuck up. But like most of the time, because you and I will go to a theater rarely. I'd say maybe 4 or 5 times a year.
Yeah.
Because I usually don't like going to theaters. And for the reason of the second answer, I much prefer to watch movies at home because I don't have to worry about the social awkwardness and frustration and anger that comes with a stranger not doing that one kind of expected rule.
Yeah.
And so the reason I bring all this up is when we saw this movie, fucking like opening weekend for my birthday,
opening Friday,
the theater was just packed. And I don't know if it is because the film was being boycotted by groups that are good that I agree with and align with, that the people that I don't agree with typically were then brought out in droves.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
It's my working theory. But so there were two things. Number one, the people sitting next to us were like 4 or 5. No, it's probably 2 or 3 tiny children. Between the ages of 4 and 8 years old with their father who was dead asleep. And that's already uncomfortable because they're obviously frightened. And so they're moving around and making noise and distraction.
Yeah.
But then right fucking in front of me was this woman and her boyfriend who clearly was so just like, shut the fuck up, please. Like maybe it was a first date or something. She was clearly drunk.
Oh yeah.
I do not like to throw this word around, but she was trashy as fuck. Just drunken, face tattooed, white trash. And she talked the whole movie. And it's like, it's a crowded theater. There have been horrible acts of violence committed in theaters. So it's like, I don't want to say anything because if I'm like, hey, shut the fuck up, then, you don't know what you risk. But it's like, so I'm trying to watch this movie and the movie sucks and I'm getting angrier and angrier. And the angrier I'm getting, the more I'm looking at this woman just glaring daggers into the back of her head. And then the kid to the right of me would start crying. And I'm looking at you and you are locked the fuck in. I'm like, God, Andy in The Office, who's played by Ed Helms, has this saying. And he's like, hey, beer me that CD or like beer me this because he's a fucking asshole frat guy.
Right.
And so at one point, Jim Halpert says, Lord, beer me strength. And I was like, Lord, beer me a noose. Hello, all you Sids and Sydneys, and welcome back to the Third Channel Podcast,
where we delve into the horror franchises you love from the perspectives of a lifelong horror fan
and a newbie to the genre. I'm Ghostface.
And I'm Derek.
And today, the only thing we're here to talk about is horror. Today's horror, the controversial,
to say the least.
Yeah, the not very good.
To say the most.
Actually, you know what? No, that's not to say the most. I'm going to come right out and say it at the top of the episode. The bad Scream 7. Mind-boggling.
Yeah, I didn't think it was possible, guys, but I think they made a bad Scream movie finally.
It's mind-boggling that you and I are sitting across from each other after going to see Scream for my birthday and just... Man, I rooted for it the whole time.
Yeah.
And it's like you're a stepdad and your stepson is a horrible drug addict. And the whole time you're just rooting for them to get their shit together. They're, his mother is so disappointed in him. And you're just like, come on, bud.
Yeah.
I'm giving you all the resources I can.
I know you've had a lot of problems and like you've caused a lot of issues out in the public.
The whole town is against you now.
But maybe if you could just get it together.
And then your stepson's like, well, hold on, check this out. And he pulls a mask off and he's someone you don't recognize at all. Like, and I don't mean like he's a different person. I mean, like you've never seen them or maybe for like a few seconds and you're like, this is the biggest part of this movie. Why is this someone I don't know?
Yeah.
Now the analogy fell apart there at the end.
No, but it will make sense soon enough.
It will make sense. I think that it is important
Yes.
to immediately go over and in great detail our housekeeping for this episode, because the house is currently on fire.
Yes.
It was burnt down. Burn it all down.
Yeah, that was the tagline. And it's what they did to this franchise.
Well, hopefully not.
Yeah. I'm sure there are people out there who already know what we're going to be talking about with Scream 7 and all the controversies and everything else. And there may be some people listening who have no idea what we're talking about.
None.
Who showed up to see that movie. That's the first thing I'll say is, we've given you a couple weeks since it premiered. That way, if you were going to go see it, you've now had like 2 full weeks to do so. So we are going to get spoilery once we get to the actual discussion.
Yeah. I mean, basically from the second we begin the discussion, we have to pull the Band-Aid and start. That's how whodunits are.
Yeah, there are ways to do it. You're just bad at it.
Well, I'm bad at it, but also we have always maintained that, like, by the time you're 45, 50 minutes into our episode, it's like, you should expect spoilers.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Once we get into the discussion, they know.
Why'd you have to go for the personal slam?
Because
you're bad at names.
I am.
I'm bad at spoilers and you're bad at names. And now I feel better.
And we talked about it a bit with at the end of our Scream 6 discussion.
Yeah.
Because we already kind of knew some of this information.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, it was a long time kind of in the works.
Yes. But it was still one of those things where it's like, I think it's important that we went ahead and saw the thing, and we're going to talk about it because of a bunch of different reasons, whether they're right or wrong or whatever. You can have your own opinions. We're going to share ours. And but the main thing I want to say here is that if you are a fan of Scream 5 and 6, like we were, the main character there, kind of the new face of the franchise, the new final girl, Melissa Barrera, is the actress who played her, who played Sam Carpenter in those films. She was let go, and so she is not in this film.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason for that is because she has been a very vocal supporter of Palestine, and she uses her platform as a celebrity, as an actor, and as an advocate to speak about the want for and the need for a ceasefire, and then a spread of humanitarian aid to Gaza, in the Middle East.
Basically, as soon as all of that began to happen, all of let's you and I immediately call it what it is.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as the genocide began,
I believe that's the word that got her in trouble from Paramount and Spyglass.
Correct. But she called it out on, I think, an Instagram story.
Yes.
She called it out, called it a genocide, and was, like you said, attempting to use the star power that she had accumulated to give some attention to it. Within an hour is how the reporting went.
Yeah, and I have notes on all of that.
Yeah, it's fucking insane.
So we'll kind of break down that a little bit. But following her being fired from this movie, Scream 7, over her social media post, she has, since continued to support these relief efforts, including, sharing and promoting a fundraiser with a group called UNRWA, and then participating in protests and things like that. So basically what we want to do, and what we have decided as a podcast and as two guys, is, we went and we saw this movie that a lot of people were choosing to boycott. There were huge calls for boycotts for this film, to not go and support it, to not go and see it. We did go see it in theaters, and it was honestly one of the more difficult decisions I think we've made for this show. Yeah,
the decision came from a perspective of, we want to be able to, we want to be able to talk about the movie to people who are going to boycott it, but want to know what happens. Fine, great. And we also just want to be able to have seen it. It is, and this is where it gets a little personal, it is my favorite film franchise of all time, and it was my birthday, and we had planned this like a year out, because that's like, well, no, but when they narrowed that release date months ago, it was something that we had planned very early on, pre-sale, and it was for that specifically. But go on, please.
So to kind of combat that,
to offset our social carbon footprint.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. I've looked into, and we are going to be giving money to some of the different organizations out there that are putting forth things to help the people of Gaza.
Yeah, relief efforts dedicated for them.
And so the one that I mentioned just a second ago is the United Nations Relief Works Agency for Palestine Refugees in the Near East. That's the UNRWA. They provide food, healthcare, and education in Gaza and the West Bank. And that is one that Melissa Barrera actually promoted on her Instagram. So if you'd like to kind of support a similar thing that she has also supported and put out there, she's also worked with Medical Aid for Palestinians, which is MAP. They deliver emergency medical care and long-term healthcare services, which she got involved with the Cinema for Gaza initiative. And then just kind of doing some research on my own. There's also things like the Palestine Children's Relief Fund, the PCRF. They focus on giving medical care for children. There's ANERA, I believe is how you would pronounce that, ANERA.
Sure.
They provide emergency relief, including food, medical kits, hygiene items for refugees and families in Palestine, Lebanon, and Jordan. And then you have HEAL Palestine, capital HEAL Palestine, which is a non-political nonprofit providing medical aid, food, and shelter, particularly focusing on amputee programs and orphan care. So if you don't know what's going on over there, any of these things would help, because there it is a group of people who is being wiped off the planet.
Correct.
Through bombs, through starving, through lack of water, lack of medical attention and equipment.
And if you are unfamiliar with the, with obviously the tumultuous situation that this movie is kind of a part of, the movie is not actively working against any of these efforts. It just punished someone for speaking out. The production house punished someone for speaking out about it. And now, by the way, Hollywood is kind of all on her side. It's become a very obvious thing to say. She, I think, was just one of the first.
Yes.
And that's a casualty. I don't believe she deserved I don't think anybody would have deserved that.
Right.
I also happen to like her quite a bit. And so it's just, I don't know. The whole thing is just awful.
Yes. But so yeah, we're going to be giving to some of these organizations. We're also going to be linking, I'll have links to all these organizations in the description for this episode. So, if you want to support, if you've gone out and seen the movie in theaters and maybe you feel bad about that, that is your, good, bad, or otherwise, that's your feelings are valid. But you can give to kind of offset that in a way, or if you just want to give just because they clearly need it over there.
Yeah.
All the help we can kind of give. So we just kind of felt that was important to get that out of the way. And to also kind of give our perspective on, if you had any question of where we fell on that fight.
Which is crazy because we mentioned all kinds of shit. We try not to be super specific, but we mentioned all. I said that the outpost in Antarctica, that the crew of the thing, like in that movie that they were working for, was to excavate the Epstein files. So
right.
we're pretty clear.
You should, yeah. I feel like that's how I kind of like to live, is like you should be able, even if I don't tell you outright,
right,
you should know which side of the aisle I'm on.
Right.
And it's
the side for the groom.
It's the correct side.
Yeah, because you're my husband now.
Oh.
Yeah. That is one of a series of controversies with the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we will touch a lot of this.
Yeah.
But that's obviously the big one.
Yeah. The only other bit of housekeeping that I have to get right off the top here is that I recently listened back to our discussion on Scream 6.
Yes.
And at the end of that episode, you left with 2 requests.
For Scream 7 to have?
Yes.
Okay, what were they?
They were, number 1, don't bring back Stu Macher.
Okay.
Because it's dumb.
It is.
And number 2 is that you begged Fun World to please make a neon green ghost face mask like it was from Stab.
Which you sent me earlier today.
Yes.
They have now done.
Yes.
So one of those things I got, the other one I kind of got. It's all stupid. It's all bad. Of course, all of that stupid and badness comes from Scream 7. Burn it all down. When a new Ghostface killer emerges in the quiet town where Sidney Prescott has built a new life, her darkest fears are realized as her daughter becomes the next target. Determined to protect her family, Sidney must face the horrors of her past to put an end to the bloodshed once and for all. Immediately, that's stupid. What do you mean put an end to it once and for all? That's what all of these movies do. At the end of all of these movies, they're like, oh, we did it. We got it. We finished the Ghostface killings.
And then Paramount looks at those box office numbers and they go, oh, well, somehow Ghostface survived.
Yeah, speaking of this.
I've got it.
Yeah.
I've got the numbers in here.
Yeah.
The current numbers.
Hey, when was the first time you saw Scream 7?
Oh, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. What did you think?
We'll find out together.
Oh, okay. I was going to say I didn't like it.
Oh.
And guess what, guys? Neither will you. Well, you might.
You might. There are some people who are digging it.
Letterboxd's average, it's sitting at a 2.1 right now.
Yeah, it's one of the I think it's one of only 2 Scream films that is not certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Not that I care about.
This one in 3 or this one in 4? Probably 3.
Yeah, I can't remember what the other one is. Doesn't really matter. Scream 7 was released just the other day, February 27th of 2026. It's directed by Kevin Williamson. It's also written by Kevin Williamson, Guy Busick, and James Vanderbilt. Those are names we've heard before. It's produced by William Sharrock, James Vanderbilt, and Paul Neinstein. The cinematography is done by Ramsey Nichol. He had shot a dark comedy in 2005 called Pretty Persuasion, the rom-com The O in Ohio in 2006, and then the dark comedy Let's Go to Prison in 2006 as well. Also the comedy from 2007 called Chaos Theory, Needle in a Time Stack, a 2021 sci-fi drama. And then more interesting than any of that, before all of that, he was a music video director. So he did music videos for The Offspring, Pretty Fly for a White Guy.
Okay.
He did Then the Morning Comes for Smash Mouth.
Okay.
He directed the System of a Down music video for Chop Suey.
Great. That's a really good one.
And the Beverly Hills music video for Weezer.
Okay. A little bit of something for everybody in there.
Yeah. The editor is Jim Page, who had been the editor on The Majestic, the 2001 Frank Darabont movie starring Jim Carrey. Disturbia, the 2007 thriller with Shia LaBeouf. The Uninvited, which was an 2009 horror film. Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters in 2013. The Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse in 2015. He cut The First Purge in 2018 and Violent Night, the 2022 David Harbour as Santa Claus movie.
Okay.
So yes.
It's funny because like a handful of those are also pretty controversial.
Yeah. True.
That's wild.
So the budget for this film was $45 million. Now, I know it's been a while since we talked about Scream 6, but just looking back, 33 to 35 million is what Scream 6 was made for. So we went up from there.
What do you need $45 million for?
A lot of, I don't know, hiring and firing of people. I don't know how much of that money went to like
hiring.
They blew it on like, oh yeah, we hired this person and paid them X amount and then they dropped out or whatever.
And we broke their contract.
Right. It's like, I don't know how much of that factors in.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
But then the box office at its current standing,
I know,
the time of this recording, is $104.5 million.
Which is just like shattered the record for this franchise.
Yeah, it has the highest opening weekend for the franchise at $63 million for the opening weekend.
Now, you and I talked about this, and I have zero faith in humanity, especially American humanity. I have zero faith in this populace anymore. And I really do believe that if the word gets out that there's a boycott for anything, it does better. Anything. That fucking Hogwarts Legacy game. Gangbusters. It made Warner Brothers so much fucking, no, apparently not enough, but it made them so much fucking money. And it's because the second you put controversy and it gets headlines, there is no such thing as bad publicity.
Yeah.
Which makes me feel even worse that we went to a theater and saw it. But what I will say again is that experience sucked.
Yeah.
So we were immediately punished in like a very mild way, but we were immediately punished for our sins.
Yeah. The luckiest thing about that experience is that she was so drunk that she left the theater for long stretches of time. I assumed to go to the bar.
I think she was going to vomit her guts up to stay. She wasn't. So like, you know, you get enough drunk that you become like buzzed and then you just want to keep your buzz going. She got so drunk that she was beginning to get alcohol poisoning. So she would make herself throw up just to get right back that she was riding the edge. She was alcohol poison edging.
Oh,
yeah.
That's something.
It's as gross as it is definitely what she was doing. Anyway, continue.
The writer-director, Kevin Williamson, the only other teaching credit that he has is Teaching Mrs. Tingle, which was a 1999 black comedy thriller. But we have spoken about him because he is the writer on Screams 1, 2, and 4. He also wrote I Know What You Did Last Summer, The Faculty, the 98 Robert Rodriguez like sci-fi horror film, Cursed, the 05 Wes Craven flick, Sick, a 2022 slasher, and then he also created the TV shows Dawson's Creek and The Vampire Diaries.
I want to say something really quickly about Kevin Williamson because Kevin Williamson is getting fucking dragged.
Yeah.
So 2 things. Number 1, hey, Kevin, we're both mad and disappointed. Now, not pin in that. Kevin Williamson didn't fire Melissa Barrera. Kevin Williamson is not Spyglass.
No.
He is not Paramount.
And he
was offered money to come save a film, the origins of which he helped create with an incredible friend of his and one of the best horror filmmakers of all time. I do not blame him for taking this job. I do blame him, and that's why we're mad and disappointed, because Kevin, what the fuck? You are so good. You are so good. How was this so bad?
Yeah. How did you take the thing that you created? Look, we would not have Scream. Scream would not exist without this man.
Right. And it's like, it's everything. And we'll get in way more into this, but it's like, how did you miss the meta element? How did you miss what makes these characters important? And then most importantly, you also directed it. Why does it look bad too?
Yeah.
Kevin.
Disappointed.
I wish this was the Kevin that got left home alone.
Wow.
But he got left in a house and Ghostface stabbed him.
The other main writer is Guy Busick. He co-wrote Ready or Not in 2019, Ready or Not 2, Here I Come, which comes out like in another week or 2.
Yeah.
And then was the writer on Scream 5 and 6, and Abigail, which were all directed by Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett. Plus, he also wrote Final Destination Bloodlines, which, if you haven't watched, is like the best one in that franchise. Like, somehow it just keeps getting better. The other writer-producer, James Vanderbilt, wrote and produced Zodiac, the David Fincher film from 2007, Murder Mystery 1 and 2, which is a Netflix Adam Sandler, I think Jennifer Aniston films.
Jennifer Aniston.
Was also the writer on Screams 5 and 6, a 2022 film called Bed Rest, which stars Melissa Barrera.
Okay.
And then Nuremberg, which is a 2025 film that he also directed.
That is a huge departure from the rest of his collection of works.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw Nuremberg in theaters.
Good.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty good. And then he also produced Abigail, Ready or Not 2.
Okay.
The other producers are William Chirac, who did Slender Man in 2018, Suspiria in 2018, Ready or Not, Scream 5 and 6, Bed Rest, Abigail, Nuremberg, and then Paul Neinstein, who did Scream 5 and 6, Bed Rest, Abigail, and was the executive producer on Novocaine, the 2025 film with Jack Quaid, and Nuremberg. And then the music was done by returning Marco Beltrami, who had done this music for Screams 1, 2, 3, and 4. So all the Wes Craven Scream films. Also worked with Wes Craven on Cursed, Red Eye, My Soul to Take. He worked with Guillermo del Toro for Mimic, Blade 2, and Hellboy. He did the music for Halloween H2O, The Faculty, The Omen, The Thing 2011. That's where we talked about him last. And then a bunch of other things like Quiet Place 1 and 2.
That is a positive. It feels, the music feels very on brand, feels very good.
And you get a lot of, I mean, it's, new tracks, but then you also kind of get updated versions of like Sydney's theme
It's
and things
not
like
as
that.
intense as John Carpenter revisiting the Halloween score for 2018, but it's like a whisper of that. It's close to that.
It feels right.
Yeah, it feels right in something that feels mostly like a big waste of my time.
Yes. So the development on this film. This
I
is
don't
where
mean
we'll
to be
get
this
into
negative right from the beginning, and I'm sorry if I'm coming off that way.
Yeah.
I'm just so sad.
Yeah. Disappointed. But during the premiere of Scream 6, co-director Matt Bettinelli-Olpin said that, we want to watch Scream movies, whether we're involved or not, for the rest of our lives. Clearly, those two movies are made by fans.
Yes.
So both him and the other co-director, Tyler Gillette.
Yeah.
Previously expressed interest in December of 2022 in bringing Neve Campbell's character Sydney back in future sequels after she had declined to return in Scream 6 due to a pay dispute with the producers. So then in August of 2023, Bettinelli-Olpin and Gillette exited the project due to scheduling conflicts with their film Abigail. So then Christopher Landon, who is the director of Happy Death Day and Freaky, he was brought on to replace them.
That would have been interesting.
I think he is a friend of Kevin Williamson, and so Kevin actually kind of put him forward.
Okay.
Of like, hey, yeah, he'd be a good fit. That same month, pre-production was then suspended due to the 2023 SAG-AFTRA strike. So already troubled.
Already DOA, yeah.
So on November 21st of 2023, that's when Melissa Barrera, who was Sam Carpenter in Scream 5 and 6, was fired due to pro-Palestinian social media posts about the Gaza war, accusing Israel of genocide and ethnic cleansing. Spyglass claimed that her posts were anti-Semitic, which Barrera denied. And so on Instagram, she wrote, "I believe a group of people are not their leadership and that no governing body should be above criticism." And she prayed for no more deaths, no more violence, and for a peaceful coexistence. The following day, the Deadline Hollywood reported that Jenna Ortega would also not be reprising her role as Tara Carpenter due to scheduling conflicts with her starring role in the second season of Netflix's series Wednesday.
Which was already rumored for a long time, and it seemed like if she was in Scream 7, it would be limited involvement at most.
Which I have read some reports in the last couple of days that kind of point to that. If they had gone the way that the original plan was
To finish the Carpenter run,
she would have been either the first, like the opening scene kill, or she would have died very early on in the first act.
hey man, that would have been better.
Yes. But Ortega later refuted this, stating in an April 2025 interview that she left due to the changes in the creative team and cast, stating, quote, "The Melissa stuff was happening and it was all kind of falling apart. If Scream 7 wasn't going to be with that team of directors and those people I fell in love with, then it didn't seem like it was the right move for me in my career at the time."
Smart.
So it was then reported that the film would go through a creative retooling with the intention of bringing back other actors from the franchise, like Neve Campbell, alongside Patrick Dempsey, who was Mark Kincaid in Scream 3. And then in December of 2023, Christopher Landon announced that he had officially exited the film weeks prior. He later explained he felt that without Barrera, the film he had signed on to direct no longer existed.
Correct.
And therefore, there was no reason for him to continue. And then these changes apparently cost the production around $500,000 in rewrites.
Jesus Christ.
So that's where, a chunk of that change went. So then in
Just
March...
because you don't like that your lead actress was a humanitarian.
And
Jesus Christ.
And it was during kind of that era, I feel, where a lot of companies were, I think, overreacting to certain things that were happening that their stars were saying. They were speaking out on one side or the other of an issue.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of companies that immediately were like, nope, the best way for us to handle that is just to fire them.
Which is like fucking insane.
No, let's pause for a second and like hear them out, and then you can make a decision.
Yeah.
But that's not how it goes.
Somehow Harvey Weinstein worked in the industry for fucking 30 years, but God forbid a 20-year-old woman decides that she wants to give money to a good cause and speak up about it. Jesus.
So then in March of 2024, Neve Campbell posted to her Instagram account that she would return as Sydney. She also confirmed that Kevin Williamson, writer and producer of the previous Scream films, would direct from a script by Guy Busick and based on a story that Busick and James Vanderbilt wrote. Her return was supported by many of her movie colleagues, including David Arquette. It was reported that Campbell was paid $7 million for this film, and Courtney Cox was paid $2 million.
There's a fucking quarter of your budget.
That was
those two, and the rewrites.
So then in November, Isabel May was cast to portray Sydney's daughter. That same month, Mason Gooding and Courtney Cox signed on to reprise their roles from the previous films. Patrick Dempsey said that scheduling conflicts and the California wildfires prevented him from joining the film, which was a big complaint that I had going into this.
Yeah.
Mainly because nothing against
Joel McHale.
Yeah, because I like him a great deal. I just, you know me, I like when the franchise
hugs itself.
Yes.
Yeah. It eats its own tail. I agree. I would have preferred Patrick Dempsey. We'll get into this, but I mean, Joel McHale does fine. He does better than fine. He's probably one of my favorite parts of this movie, but
you know, he had reasons.
Yeah.
And then in January of 2025, it was announced that Roger L. Jackson would return as the voice of Ghostface, and Jasmine Savoy Brown would reprise her role from the previous two films, with Joe McHale cast as Sydney's husband. Then the weird things started happening.
Yeah, Matthew Lillard is announced that he's coming back.
Along with Scott Foley.
Yeah.
They had previously played Stu Macher and Roman Bridger in Scream and Scream 3. And then in March, David Arquette was also confirmed to reprise his role as Dewey, a character that had been killed in Scream 5.
In the biggest point of that film.
Yes.
Yeah. That film exists to kill Dewey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Arquette was very surprised that news kind of leaked because, you know, they were planning it as a surprise, not a spoiler.
It's the only reason this movie's making as much money as it is.
Yes. Then in December of 2025, Skeet Ulrich revealed that he was originally supposed to return as Billy Loomis in the original version of Scream 7 as part of the original 3-film arc. But following Barrera's firing, the film's creative retooling and everything, he confirmed he was no longer set to appear in the film. Now, this has kind of recently come out. So this is, December of last year. Skeet Ulrich says that the idea was for Sam Carpenter to finally embrace her inner darkness in the finale of this trilogy. Quote, "I was hoping for exactly that, and that's sort of the idea that was pitched to me a couple years ago. That it was a 3-movie arc with that in mind. Now, I never saw any of the drafts of 7 or anything like that, and I don't know. I mean, it's possible that it didn't include any of that as well, but yeah, that was my hope, and if it was going to mean anything, it needed to directly impact the plot. But of course, none of that materialized when Spyglass Entertainment let Melissa Barrera go, and then everything happened.
Yeah.
So
this is just going to be another one of those examples, and usually it's not as painful, but, you know, fucking Leprechaun 3, we heard about what that trilogy was going to be like, about all the courtroom stuff and how crazy and different that would have been. And it's like, well, yeah, that would have been better. And it's like, yeah, that would have been astronomically better.
Yes. And it's the logical
of course it is.
Conclusion for that trilogy.
This has pumped the brakes and U-turns so hard that just the opening 25 minutes of this movie is like tonal whiplash.
Finally, for these production notes, we'll go into a little thing about our ghost face mask.
Yeah.
Again, listening back to our Scream 6 discussion, I guess we made it through that whole franchise. If you go back and you listen to those early episodes, you kind of witness the evolution of this show week to week to week.
Which is funny because we said in Scream 1, that episode, like, yeah, we don't know what we're doing. We're going to, you guys are our test audience. We're going to, now it's tight.
Yeah.
Now it's tight as a butt.
Yeah.
But earlier, it was as open as my mouth because it's running.
Wow. But in that episode, we finally are like, oh, by the way, let's give a little history lesson on the ghost face mask.
Oh,
because it's important. So in a similar fashion, in early February of 2026. Now, again, this movie came out at the end of February 2026.
Yep.
Paramount Pictures and Spyglass filed a lawsuit against Alterian Ghost Factory to stop them from suing since they had threatened copyright infringement over the rights to the ghost-faced mask.
Jesus.
Back in July of 2024, apparently Alterian said that they had created the underlying design originally, so they claimed that Funworld had no right to license the mask in the first place. Alterian Incorporated, we've actually talked about before. It's run by Tony Gardner, who is a makeup artist and puppeteer. He's worked on Army of Darkness. Seed, Curse, Cult, and the Chucky series.
Wow, okay.
As well as he's the guy who created the Daft Punk masks.
Oh, very cool.
So, but Funworld said that they worked with a Hong Kong-based sculptor to create a new line of Halloween masks that they have been selling since the early 90s. I think in that episode we talked like 91, 92 was like the first time that Funworld put out this peanut-eyed ghost mask. And so the original mask was found in a North California home whenever they were scouting for filming of the original Scream movie. And then they licensed it from Funworld for each installment for the next 30 years.
Correct. Yeah.
Ultimately, Paramount believes that the underlying dispute is between Alterian and Funworld, but that Alterian had surrendered any claim of ownership since it hadn't taken any action for decades.
Correct.
Basically just wanting to disrupt the release of a completed motion picture weeks before it comes out.
I mean, not to agree with this movie, but yes.
Yeah.
That is correct. The Ghostface mask is one of the most, if not the most iconic and famous horror masks. It's like that, the fucking hockey mask. More than Michael. Michael's a white face. It's speaking from somebody who saw horror from a porthole in a rocking ship because I wasn't going to go near it. You know Ghostface by name.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, it's preposterous. And there's so many, I have so many problems with that because like, I love, everybody who knows this show knows that I love horror masks. I own like, I think 6 or 7 variants of that Ghostface mask in different, and like the original white, I think I have like 4 or 5 blanks just because I like it so much. So the idea that it could be that like culturally significant, you're like, well, wait a minute. That would be like, that's like some guy living in like Sacramento being like, well, hold on, I invented the iPhone. It's like why didn't you say anything?
Yeah.
Give us a call.
Well, yeah. I mean, I thought maybe they'd rip me off whenever they got to the iPhone 10, but I waited until the 16 to say something.
All I know is that I'm looking at a journal right now, and under my name's got the word iOS, Apple, and FaceTime.
You know, the only thing more, probably more iconic than the Ghostface mask itself is Roger L. Jackson's voice.
Hello?
Hello, Sydney. Guess who? Did you miss me? I see you found a new town to live in. It reminds me a lot of where we grew up.
Oh, do we know each other?
We sure do. In fact, I was just in Woodsboro last night. Things got a little heated. But I'm here in Pine Grove now.
Yeah, what brings you here?
You, Sydney, you were missed in New York. It's not the same without you. I guess you couldn't be bothered now that you're so busy with a husband and family.
Well, you sure know a lot about me for another asshole hiding behind a fake number and a voice changer.
Oh, I'm not hiding, Sydney. Not this time.
Surprise, Sydney. Do you need a minute? Oh my gosh, it looks like you need a minute. I'll wait.
Nice try. Stumacher is dead.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna agree to disagree with you there. Oh my God, it's so good to see you. I always had a thing for you, Sid.
Now you might be thinking to yourself, that's not in the trailer. How do you guys have that clip?
No, I'm sure that was in the trailer, right?
Hey guys,
It's probably the extended cut.
guys, I'm going to tell you a little secret. So we wanted to watch it twice so that we kind of had a better idea of the flow of the story. Now, I didn't watch it twice. I'm going to be all over the place in this, but because I only watched it like more than a week ago in a theater one time. But Derek, you watched it again.
Yeah.
So he's going to keep us on track. Yeah. But we normally would feel really bad about this because, you know, you wouldn't steal a car, you wouldn't steal whatever, so you wouldn't steal a movie. But we did steal this movie.
Yeah.
We pirated this movie because I'm never going to pay to see this movie ever again.
Yeah.
So, but
It fell off a truck, guys.
yeah, it fell off. It was in a speaker. It was in some speakers. They fell off a truck. We opened it up and it was a digital file that shot right into our brains and then into our laptop. But yeah, guys, how cool are we? This is how we're getting back at Spyglasses. We stole your fucking movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, so a couple things about that clip. Roger Jackson, baby. sincerest regards to you, Mr. Jackson. You are old, you are little and rotund, and your voice is the sexiest, spookiest voice in all of Hollywood.
He's
baby.
still got it, baby.
He's still got it. But the other thing is, we don't get a lot of his voice. In this. It is easily the least amount of Ghostface voice in any of these. And the reason is, obviously, based on the clip, Stu Macher seems to be back.
Mm-hmm.
And so the majority of the time that we would get, I would say about a 50-50 split.
Yeah.
50% of the time that normally Ghostface would call in and taunt or whatever, it is instead a video call, and it is Stu Macher delivering those lines.
Yeah.
Now, what I will say is, while normally I'd be heartbroken, I am heartbroken about it, but while normally that would be the only emotion I feel, that is slightly distracted by how absolutely wonderful fucking Matthew Lillard is.
Yeah.
This.
Seeing him dust off this character, it's just as welcome as seeing like David Arquette play Dewey in 5.
Yeah. Or Sydney being back in this. Because no matter what any of the controversy is, Neve Campbell's great.
Oh, yes. Yes.
She is great.
Her performance in this is just as strong. She falls right back into who this character is.
And regardless of the fact that Courtney Cox looks like a mummified wax sculpture, she's also still pretty good in this movie.
Yeah. She feels like Gale.
But that's, I think, before we get into the review proper, I am saddened that this discussion has to be so scarred with controversy, and so much of it has to take a back seat to all of that. I'm disappointed in Paramount. Well, it's impossible not to be, but I'm disappointed in all of these decisions and all of this, because this is also the first time that you and I are discussing a movie that just came out.
Yeah.
It's the first time we're not discussing something that you could rent or stream. This is only in theaters right now.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's something that I know I have been personally asked since we started this show. We started doing probably halfway through Evil Dead. Yeah. And people already started like, well, hey, I like what you guys are doing, but are you ever going to do like new movies? And it's like, well, I mean, yeah, eventually I'm sure we will.
Yeah. I think the agreement that you and I always have had is that if we've already touched the franchise and a new one comes out, we will pause, talk about the new one, and go back to whatever we were doing.
Yeah.
It just sucks that the first time up to bat with this amazing, amazing franchise and all of its history, and we just kind of have to feel both about the movie and about its making how does this movie start?
This movie starts with a car pulling up to a house in Woodsboro.
Yeah.
And a Stab franchise superfan named Scott and his girlfriend Madison are staying at a horror Airbnb experience at Stu Macher's house.
Is it actually the house, or is it like a replica of the house? It has to be the actual house.
I believe it's the house.
Okay. That feels weird. It's also like, because they're driving through like an empty forest road. I was like, well, this is not how they got here in this movie. Where's the ditch that, like, it just, I don't know.
It looks different for sure.
It feels like
but then again, it's 30 years later. So
maybe they picked it up and drove it down the road a little bit.
It's funny you say that, because things like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre house, that house was picked up and moved several miles, and it is now a barbecue restaurant and a museum to Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Are you fucking serious?
Yes.
I want to do that so bad.
That's what I'm saying. These places, the Buffalo Bill house from Silence of the Lambs just went up for sale.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something horrible. Like it's like a tannery. Like they sell leathers out of it.
But that would be hilarious.
It would be hilarious. A leather shop in Buffalo Bill's house? So follow-up question. Do the barbecue that this Sawyer house that it sells, is it people?
Probably.
Hell yeah, baby. I want to try a person. Leave a comment if you'd eat a single. If it was,
I think we've talked about this before. Yeah.
Well, you need to leave a comment because we're still waiting. Charlie, leave a comment how old you were when you first ate a person.
I want to know that.
We need to know that.
Need it.
We're wired into the police.
My first moment of like, it was right off the top of this film. Like I audibly laughed. And I was the only one. And I was like, oh, did no one else hear that? Is whenever they pull up to the house, they're listening to the radio. There's a radio report happening. And it is talking about the possibility, they don't give a name, but it says there's a possibility that someone is still alive because he was seen at a college party a couple of years after the original murders, the same year that these other murders happened. And so that is playing on, there is a scene in Scream 2 where Matthew Lillard was present on set. It's the college party.
Right.
And there's like 2 shots where if you know what he's dressed as, he's this shock white blonde hair at the time. And he is in the background of a couple shots and you can see him. And that is where I think the original rumors of Stu Macher survived started.
That's funny.
And so the fact that they put it in this movie, I was like, okay, I'm going to try and trace where it started falling apart for me.
Oh, I'll start us off. It started falling apart right now.
Well, I have problems with his opening scene, but the full movie didn't fall apart until later.
You know me. My least favorite thing in the world is what South Park would go on later to define as member berries. I hate it. Undeserved bullshit of shining a flashlight at things that people remember fondly to then attempt to make something of lesser quality equal to that. That's all this is. All of this is look, but here's the problem that I have with doing it, because if the last movie didn't exist, this wouldn't be so egregious. But the last movie, which I think handled it really well, had Richie's Museum in an old abandoned theater. He had made like a like one of those people that like, you know, sick in the head and they worship a serial killer. Richie had built like a shrine to all things ghost face killers. And not the rapper, but all the ones in the movie. And so then you have this, and you have the exact same thing that Kirby does when she goes, it's like, oh my God, and that's this from this stab movie, and that's this, and oh my God. And it's like, we have seen this so many times, and this is the laziest attempt yet.
Yes. That is honestly, you use that word. I think you're the first to use that word in this talk right now.
Lazy,
but
yeah.
Let's give that to John Keogh, our friend.
Yeah.
Also not a big fan of this film.
No.
From his Instagram posts.
No, he said in 2 paragraphs what we're going to take 2 hours to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
But lazy. The laziest film he's ever seen, I think, is what he said.
It's the exact same set. Basically, the what it looks like is where anybody who in that home died, Amber, Richie, Stu, Billy, there are white tape outlines of where they would be.
You see how you just listed off those names? That's what happens here.
Yeah.
The guy goes around and points at them and goes, Richie, Amber. Like,
you're
it.
Barely kidding.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, this is where Amber got fried. And it's like, God damn it. Yeah, we know. We know. But even if you don't know, it doesn't matter. Like, and a good example of that, we talked about this in our Scream review, our very first episode. I saw Scream 5 and then I saw Scream 1. And not knowing these people's names didn't bother me from seeing Scream 5. It didn't keep anything from me. It's like, oh, I guess Billy Loomis is an important person and that's her dad. Okay, great. Here I go. And I didn't need to know. And so to waste this entire opening, because this isn't what the opening is supposed to be. No. It is so routine now that to do this fan service and sort of like, it's like a vomit of unimportant exposition. And it's also, by the way, where the entire movie's tagline comes in from, and it does nothing for the major story.
Yes, it is a thing that I realized about probably my second time seeing the Scream 7 trailer. And a lot of it is like them running around in this house and her falling on the knife and the motion sensor guy and then burning down Stu's house. And it's like, oh, that's the opening scene.
That's funny.
That's the whole opening scene.
This is a rare movie. Normally you will abstain from trailers and I will watch them pretty avidly.
Because I go to the theater so often, I am almost forced to see trailers.
Fair enough. I avoided this one. I had seen no footage from this at all, with the exception of the scene where he drops the match and walks out of the house. That's all I had seen. But I didn't recognize it as Stu's house. Maybe I should have, but I didn't.
The other thing that it fails at here, and that I think you were probably getting at, is that the opening sequence is typically a big celebrity cameo of some kind that they kill off.
What is Six had Samara Weaving?
Yes, and Flash Thompson from Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So Scott This is an actor I know.
Sure. I recognize him. I just don't know his name.
Could not have told you his name. His name is Jimmy Tatro. He was in 22 Jump Street in 2014. He was in, and like, he's in a lot of comedies. He did do The Wolf of Snow Hollow, a 2020 werewolf movie. And then he is in The Machine, the 2023 Bert Kreischer. Is that how you Kreischer? That comic?
Yeah.
He plays the younger version of him.
Okay.
Like in Russia.
I'm not a fan of Bert Kreischer either. So.
And then his girlfriend Madison is played by Michelle Randolph, who is a person I did not know in any way.
Yeah.
She is apparently in The Resort, a 2021 horror film. And then she's in 1923, which is a Yellowstone prequel series, a show that I haven't seen, and Landman, which is a show on Paramount Plus. So both of those shows are on Paramount Plus.
To put this into perspective, in Scream 4, you had Kristen Bell and Anna Paquin.
As well as, I mean,
that one's got like that bit. But my point is, you know how you didn't need to look those people up? Anyone listening to the show, because you just know who those people are. That was the point of the opening, is that it was, oh, look, I know that. Oh, and that's funny. And it pays off. And this does nothing. There's almost nothing of substance here.
Yeah.
They walk around the house and he, like I said, he vomits bullshit.
They play with very quickly. They play with and set up this motion sensor statue dummy of Ghostface.
Right. It's a mannequin with a head, a robotic head that turns left and right and follows with a motion tracker your face or your hands or whatever. So it looks like it's watching you. Great.
And
Cute.
it does quotes.
And honestly, that thing should have been the star of the movie. It would have been great.
Yeah.
But it's clever. And then immediately undercut. They go in the kitchen. They have this entire conversation. And then there's the fucking phone. You hit me with the phone scene. And there's a picture of fucking Stu framed sitting there. Like, look, Stu. Because they show the TV. And he's like, this is where it happened. This is where the party, this is where Stu threw the party. And it's like, in this room? It's a house. They didn't come in through the window. They walked in the front door. The whole house was a party.
It is weird the way he phrases it. I know what he
People were having
means.
sex upstairs in people's bedrooms.
Yeah,
Like,
I know that this is like what he means is like this is where, you know, Randy and everyone sat and watched the movie and then Stu got killed here.
why
but
wouldn't you just say, oh, Stu got killed here?
Yeah. It's strange verbiage.
It's because it was written by ChatGPT. That's a huge rumor. Is that a lot of the dialogue was written by AI?
The dialogue is awful in this film.
It sounds like what a robot thinks a person talks like.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the way that a lot of those dialogue scenes are shot is awful as well.
It's boring.
It is boring.
The amount of reverse shot sitting on a couch just talking to each other or like across a bedroom for an action horror thriller is alarming.
They get this phone call because they're just playing the hits in this movie, but doing it poorly.
Yeah.
Because it's, like you said, we've seen these things done before in Scream 5 and Scream 6.
Because they were the ones paying homage to the original 4.
And so this now feels like a copy of a copy.
Well, okay, so Scream is an interesting one, right? Because Scream 1, 2, and 3 are all paying homage to the one right before it and then into the future because they're meta. It's meta commentary.
Well, and they're making commentary on slasher films, sequels, trilogies,
tropes.
Yes.
Sure. And then you have 4. And 4 is an homage to the first 3 and how they fit into the modern world of the middle of the 2000s. And then you've got 5 and 6, which are to celebrate. 5 is to celebrate the franchise, and 6 is to celebrate the future of the franchise while remembering its roots. This is to do what 4 did. It's remember the first 3 because it's all we really want to touch. And it's like, yes, we remember you.
Yeah, Kevin, I know that you wrote those.
You bloated sarcophagus. Yes, we know. Oh my God.
That's how it feels.
And then she goes, well, he's like, this is where Amber got toasted alive or something. And she's like, what? And she might as well looking at the camera, she might as well be like, that's the worst way to go. Because it's like, yeah, we get it. Fuck you.
Yes. But yeah, they get this little phone call, which is like, it's part of the experience.
Right.
They ask some trivia questions. They get a trick question about Friday the 13th. Again, just like in the first film.
She answers it right. He answers it wrong.
It's a little play on that because she is not a horror fan. She doesn't really care about any of this. She came here for him.
No, but unironically, girls get it done.
That is true.
Slay queen.
And so there's some back and forth here where like he scares her a couple times with like a rubber knife, and then he dresses as Ghostface and sneaks up behind
she
her.
keeps saying, "I'm not having fun. I hate this." And he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, babe. We can just go." And she's like, "No, it's fine. We'll stay." And then he's like, "Oh, we can stay? Great. I'm going to terrify you."
Yeah, it's like, oh, you didn't like that the first time? Well, what if I did it in a mask this time?
What if I did it way worse?
Yeah.
What if I emotionally and physically abuse you for my entertainment?
Yeah.
And then they do something that made me already, at this point, my hackles are raised. I've realized that there is something horribly wrong and that this is probably not going to be good. And maybe I'm cynical. And given that cynical mindset, I was able to clock that pretty early on. This is the first moment where I wasn't confused or disappointed. I was angry. Is she then goes, he leaves to go, fuck off. Who cares?
He goes to the bathroom.
And she is then looking back at the robot who's got the face tracker. And from the shadow in the hallway, they do the Michael Myers mask appear. How fucking dare this movie do that?
Yeah.
You are not Halloween. You aren't Scream, you hackneyed loser. I immediately bristle. I was like, fuck you.
I agree. That is the part that I was like, ooh, not that though. It also looks like when it happens in Halloween, it's clearly a guy standing there in a mask and they turn up a light.
No, this looks like somebody's holding a mask on a pole.
Or that it's just like digitally floating in the air. It doesn't look like it's on a person. It doesn't look real.
No.
But
that's him, by the way. That's the boyfriend. And she punches the boyfriend. And then, now, did you also realize that this makes no fucking sense? Then he looks at the robot and he's like, it moved weird. No, it didn't. But anyway, he's like, it looked weird because I read the script.
Yeah.
And then two things happen. Number one, it's actually Ghostface.
Oh, man.
And he stabs him. And then the other thing is all of the fucking robot pieces are scattered throughout the room.
But it's like, how did they not notice all that on the floor?
Do you remember
there are human-sized legs and arms?
Do you remember when we were talking about Halloween 6? And it's the dad walks to the washer, like the washing machine, and then he goes to back up and he trips backwards over a corpse. And it's like, you walked over it. How did you not notice that was there?
Yeah.
How did they not see an entire robot mannequin was scattered through the living room? They didn't want to believe. They wanted it to be magic, you know? Anyway, this death is good. I like the effects. It's digital, but it looks very good. Ghostface stabs this guy a couple times in the guts, as he is often to do, and then gets him in the temple. And the knife goes behind his eye, and it like spins out of focus as the knife like has stabbed where you can't see it and is pushing it out of the way. Yeah, really gross. Yeah, really effective.
That's pretty sick. There's a couple of like good, interesting kills in this movie.
Good kills, well shot action. Everything else is shot by a guy that looks, it feels like the Quaalude scene from fucking Wolf of Wall Street. Not shot that way. That was shot really well. I mean, it feels like the guy is on Quaaludes like in the Wolf of Wall Street. But no, and then she dies in, I don't hate this.
Yeah, if I hadn't seen it in the trailer a dozen times, then yeah.
So then from the newbies, oh shit, our thesis at play here, buddy. From the newbie perspective, if I hadn't seen it, seeing it, I think it was pretty effective. It goes on too long. Yeah. Her swinging on the okay, basically he then chases her
upstairs
up the stairs of the Mocker house where Richie, bursts out or whatever in 5, which they do say, by the way. You don't have to know that from seeing it. If you watch this, they'll tell you.
Yeah.
And then she is swinging on a chandelier. She's knocked him basically down the landing. He's laying on his stomach, presumably dead. And then she swings on the chandelier and it breaks and she falls. And he rolls over with his knife stuck upwards, so she lands on him. Now, what I will say is that knife is not cushioning that 140-pound woman.
Right.
Falling a full story down onto your body. Your wrists are probably broken.
Yeah.
You're holding a piece of metal upwards. Your hands are stacked on top of each other. But again, he can fucking get hit in the head with a frying pan full force, and he's fine.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah.
And then he douses the whole house in gasoline, including her.
Because remember, that's the way she doesn't want to die.
Yeah.
Because they said it.
Just moments ago.
And then he lights the house on fire and he leaves. What a weird Ring doorbell camera video.
True. Do you think they could salvage it? I mean, I guess it goes to the phone. So yeah.
But it's just, can you imagine, like, you're like, oh, these guys keep going in and out. Where's all this light coming? Who the fuck is that? Oh, fuck. My mocker house. I paid so much money to move it down the road. Yeah, and then we get the scream. No swipe.
Yeah.
No slash.
No, just kind of walks into the camera. Now they do the scream in the original font, and then it changes into the more modern font that is
Which I
all
liked.
Yeah.
I thought that was neat.
And you get 7 behind it.
And then you consider burn it all down, because that's the movie's catchphrase, burn it all down. It's in the fucking summary that I read. And all I could think of is as soon as he's walking away, I noticed the no swipe, I noticed whatever, and it's like, oh, that's what they were doing. That's the big, cool, we're so big brain, we're so smart. You know, I'm sniffing my own farts, fucking Prius driver from South Park. It's like, we took the time to tell you everything that's ever happened in any of these movies in this house, where a lot of these movies kind of center around the people in. It's been visited and is the main, you know, it is the main third act set piece to movies, you know, in this franchise. But we don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
We're burning it down. No knife swipe. We're not doing any of that. We're starting over. It's like, this is the stupidest franchise in the world to try to do that with.
Yeah.
Any other movie, by the way, any other competent Scream filmmaker, which again, this movie was made by Kevin Williamson, which is fucking crazy, but a competent person making this movie would have made a joke about the fact, like, oh, well, they're probably going to do like they're going to try to do a big reboot. Like Mindy or the Randy's rule would be like, oh, well, now they're going to try to burn it all down. They're going to try to break every rule you've ever known. So these are the things to look out for. But they don't even do that in this movie.
No, because in breaking the rule, they don't even give you the rules.
No.
Pine Grove, Indiana is where we are next.
Which is far away from California.
Yes. Sydney has built a new life for herself. Things that we didn't do originally in these discussions, because the show didn't
our show
didn't do these things then, so we've never gone over, like, Sydney Prescott Evans now is played by Neve Campbell. She was in Party of Five, which was a family drama,
which we have said 500,000 times on this show.
Anytime that I find somebody who has worked on that show, I point it out, because it was the first franchise we talked about.
It is like a 50-50 split. If the next movie we're talking about has somebody that was in Party of Five starring Neve Campbell.
She was also in The Craft, the 96 horror film. She was in Wild Things, the 98 thriller. Later, she was in the drama film Panic in 2000. And then obviously she's in Screams 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 5.
Yeah. All but 6.
Yeah, all but 6. She is she's married to her husband, Mark Evans, and she runs a coffee house. Mark Evans is played by Joe McHale in this, who is in Ted, the 2012 comedy.
He's also in Where I First Saw Him. He's the bank clerk in Spider-Man 2.
Yes.
In Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2.
I was going to write that down, and I was like, maybe that's a weird stretch.
It's the first time I ever saw him.
Okay.
Yeah. Back when he was bald.
He does have some horror stuff, because he was in Deliver Us from Evil, which is a supernatural horror film from 2014. And It's a Wonderful Knife from 2023, the Christmas slasher that we've talked about. And then we both know him mostly from his role as Jeff Winger.
In Community, yeah.
Yes. And they are living there with their teenage daughter, Tatum, named after Tatum Riley from the original Scream. Tatum Evans is played by Isabel May. Not a name that I know, but she was in Alexa and Katie, which was a Netflix sitcom. Let's Scare Julie, a 2020 horror film. Run, Hide, Fight, a 2020 action thriller. And then she is also in 1883 and 1923, which are Yellowstone shows on Paramount.
Jesus. That's infuriating.
There's a lot of that on here.
Because she is fine at best.
Yes.
That's so obnoxious. Because, and I said this to you leaving the theater, McKenna Grace is in this movie.
Yes.
McKenna Grace is great. She is So cute and such a delight. And I like her in everything that I've seen her in. She's in fucking Ghostbusters. She's in Haunting of Hill House.
I'll go over all that.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
But she's in everything.
What I'm saying is that she is like I think she's probably 20 years old.
Yeah.
She is a horror icon already. And you get her for this movie and that's not her daughter.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why. And that's fucking obnoxious.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck you, Kevin Williamson.
Oh, my God.
I don't even think he probably had anything to do with that, but fuck him.
Probably not. I think she was already cast before he came on.
They are, their house is really reminiscent of Karen's house from Halloween 2018.
Okay.
Like just kind of the way, like the front of it looks. That's what I thought of. It's in a different looking neighborhood. It's much more winding roads, but it looked like kind of the facade of that house to me at that moment.
Yeah. We were, just playing the hits, copies of copies. Tatum's boyfriend, Ben, sneaks in through her window and basically says the same thing that Billy Loomis says, but I was watching the Stab movie, that movie about your mom, and I realized I've never snuck in your window before, like her boyfriend did all those years ago.
So 2 things. Number 1, they do that 500 billion more times. And every time I hate it. But then more importantly, this teenage boy looks like he just celebrated his 38th birthday.
Yes.
He does not look like a teenage. The rest of them, they all look like kids.
Yeah.
He looks like a grown man. He looks like Joel McHale's younger brother.
Should have been.
Yeah. He should have been, yeah. And he's like, no, you can't date your uncle, you fucking pervert. And Tatum's like, Sydney didn't teach me how to be an adult. He's like, that's your mother. Don't call her by her first name. And it's like, well, you know what? Honestly, would have been a better movie. If it went weird. Yeah. Well, maybe not incest, but you know what I mean. Yeah. Anything else other than incest would have been a better movie.
Okay.
That's where we draw the line at the Third Channel podcast.
Yeah. But yeah, they, she makes out with her not uncle, and then Sydney catches them and makes them leave.
This is a good bit of Sidney Prescott acting because it's interesting to see Sydney as a mom, but she's just Sydney.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just because Nev is just kind of playing an idealized version of herself is how it's always come across to me. Maybe she has an idea for the character, but either way, she's just sitting there and it's like, no, everything's fine. And Tatum's like, yeah, everything's fine. She's like, oh, Ben, how you doing over there lying behind the bed? And it's just like, it's cute. And it feels, what I will say about the actress who plays Tatum and Nev is that they do have an estranged mother teenage daughter relationship. They have that down very well.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is, kind of the through line for the whole movie, like I guess emotionally.
Yeah.
If there was any. So the boyfriend, Ben Brown, is played by Sam Rechner, who was in a Australian drama film from 2022 called Ruby's Choice. He was in Steven Spielberg's The Fabelmans. And then he is in something called Heartbreak High, which whenever I looked it up looks like an Australian Degrassi.
Was that this year? Was he in high school there this year as well?
No, it was, he ran crazy for a couple seasons.
Yeah, she kicks him out. He says some bullshit like, oh, I just don't want to use the front door.
I'm a good guy.
Yeah. And I love how immediately she's like, go fuck yourself. And he's like, close the door.
And, we see that that Sydney has, locks on the doors, alarm systems.
But they don't do the Laurie Strode route. They don't go that crazy where it's like, she's got like shotguns at every corner. It's like, no, she's responsibly prepared.
Yes. And it's that thing of, if you're looking at the legacy of this character, we go from her being herself in Scream 1 to having it happen, the impossible happen again in Scream 2. And then she's living on her own, locked in a house where no one even knows her actual name, with locks and alarms and everything in Scream 3. But by the end of that movie, the end of her trilogy, the door swings open and she just, you know what, that's fine. I'm safe. And she just leaves it. And people talk about how, like, that's a dumb moment at the end of the movie. I think that's the point of that character. Like,
right.
But now 3 more times,
right,
people have been murdered by Ghostface in her name, kind of.
Yeah.
And so she's back to being like, nope, I am trying to protect my family because it just keeps happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the first of, like you said, like kind of Sydney and Tatum going at each other. Tatum calling Sydney a hypocrite. But the main thing here is that like Sydney has never discussed with Tatum anything about her history, anything about her past, anything about what has happened to her. And Sydney's kind of like, you should know everything that you want. All of my history is in books and it's in movies and you can just watch it anytime you want. And it's like, right, but that's not the real you.
But I don't know what the point the movie is trying to make about that is.
I don't know.
Is the movie saying that she needs to have shared everything? Because like, no, I don't think I think there are things that you wait. And like, I don't think there's a reason to keep things from your kids forever. But I certainly don't think your kids are beholden to every piece of life you've ever walked through. I think that you were allowed agency in that decision. And I don't know if the movie is trying to say like, oh, well, you didn't share every gory, intimate detail about all the murder you've witnessed, you final girl. And so now your daughter's going to die and it's your fault somehow?
Maybe.
I don't understand that. And it's like
then
a big point of the movie.
Yeah. Then the other big like running theme is that Tatum is shy and reserved and she needs to break out of her shell and like be strong like her mother. Her mother is Sydney Prescott.
But it's not like Sydney's like a fucking, like she survived a bunch of murders and she's like an Olympic figure skater. It's like she just survived murder. She's never given an interview, which this movie makes a point of saying. So it's like there are things about her that are known, but it's not like she's a celebrity.
Right.
Because we get, and eventually we get to a point where somebody says almost exactly that verbatim. And it's like, what are you talking about? You're not strong like Sydney. I don't know. It's like the movie wants so badly to capitalize on what would be the persona of Sydney Prescott, but just doesn't understand what in a real world scenario that would have grown to be. I don't know. It's fucking weird.
Yeah. There's a quick thing here just to get it out of the way. Because I asked you at some point of like, why is this in the movie? They take a phone call, a video phone call from, I guess, one of their grandmothers or aunts or something who is...
It's Mark's mom.
Okay, Mark's mom is currently babysitting their two younger kids.
They're like twins.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I think. I don't know.
just to get them out of the picture.
It's that what I told you, because you had asked that question. My assumption is that in Scream, I think 5, Gail says, how are Mark and the kids?
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, fuck.
We're tied to her husband's name is Mark, which the co-directors of Scream 5 and 6 put that in there with the idea that it was Mark Kincaid.
Sure. And I think that's...
And then that fell apart, unfortunately, through nobody's fault. And then we're stuck with, well, she has multiple kids, I guess.
Yeah.
But then whenever they wrote this story and they were like, oh, well, we're going to tell the story of, again, we're trying the passing of the torch, but instead of it being a cousin, this time it's her daughter. And
how fucking awesome would it be if the Ghostface killers were those kids?
Oh my God.
And like, Sydney's like, they're like 3 feet tall. How did I not notice?
Well, they're stacked on each other. Like they try to sneak into a movie.
It's Vincent Adultman, but as a Ghostface killer. Now it's a better movie. For sure that's a better movie. Like even with BoJack Horseman and the gang, dude, fucking Princess Carolyn's trying to get an interview with fucking Sydney.
Yes. I love that.
God, it's so funny.
Yeah. So we jump back and forth. It's funny rewatching it because it's not as bad as Leprechaun 3 was of jumping back and forth between like two scenes for way too long. But we do a bit of jumping back and forth. Pace is fine.
Tatum goes to school.
Yes.
And Sydney goes to work.
Correct. So let's jump to our theater rehearsal first. Tatum walks to school for a rehearsal with her friends Hannah and Chloe. Hannah Thurman is played by McKenna Grace, who you mentioned. She was in Haunting of Hill House. She plays the young Theo. She's also in Annabelle Comes Home, Malignant, Ghostbusters Afterlife, and Frozen Empire.
She is in Malignant.
Mm-hmm. And she's in Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
Yes.
She is also the younger version of every female character that's been the star of a movie for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Like if you look at her, it's like she's young Carol Danvers and she's young. Right. I think she's oh no, it's the other one. It's the girl from Megan, who is the young Natasha.
Oh, right.
But either way,
no. McKenna Grace is great.
Yes,
and adorable. And yeah, I like it when she's in stuff because I don't know. We've seen her. I mean, I watched Hill House maybe a year after it had come out, and she's little in that.
Yes.
And it's like, it really is. It's like what I think, you know, maybe our parents would have thought of like a Chloe Grace Moretz of like, she's very young and stuff. And she's goes on to go into more and more things. And it's like, that's it. It's just sweet.
Yeah.
And I like it when she's in stuff. She's good in this, but not in it enough.
Yeah, I think she was, because she's done a voice for Daphne in that animated Scoob movie, I believe.
Oh, cute.
But I think she just got cast as the live action Daphne in whatever the next iteration of Scooby-Doo is.
What if Matt Lillard is Shaggy and there's like a 30-year age discrepancy?
But they don't.
All of them are like in their early 20s, and then Matt Lillard's like, man, Scoob. And it's like, we walked here. And it's like, yeah, my back hurts. Leave me alone.
Yeah, they just don't mention it.
No, they can't.
Her other friend, Chloe Parker, is played by Celeste O'Connor, who was in the slasher film Freaky. She's also in Ghostbusters Afterlife and Frozen Empire, which is weird.
She's the girl with the like long dreads that, oh my God, I did know her from somewhere. Okay.
And she was in Madam Web. In 2024, she plays Maddie Frank, who is Spider-Woman.
That's an example of a movie that Derek saw in a theater in spite of it being bad. We've mentioned that a billion times on this show.
Did see it in theaters.
Bottom of the barrel.
I saw it, so you didn't have to. Okay.
No, it was not for me. It was morbid curiosity at best.
They go to the school, and we are introduced to her awful theater drama teacher, George Willis. I am only giving people who are on the poster.
Okay.
So it's any of these people could be the killer.
Okay.
That's your hint, guys. George Willis is played by Tim Simmons, who was in Veep, the comedy
with Tony
political
Hale,
satire. He's also in Goosebumps, the 2015 film, and he was apparently in Don't Worry, Darling, the 2022 psychological thriller.
I liked that movie.
With Flo Pugh.
Yeah, interesting.
As she likes to be called.
Another controversial movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Harry Styles definitely spit in Chris Pine's lap. He hot to him.
We did it, guys.
I finally got to use that in context.
He spit on that.
Chris Pine, yeah.
But yeah, George, the drama teacher, tells Tatum, this is like where they start the thing of like, you're too shy. You got to be more fierce. You got to be outgoing. You're Sidney Prescott's daughter, for crying out loud.
As far as I can tell, she's playing Nana the dog in like a production of Peter Pan. Like, it's not, but it is. Yep. And she's playing a dog. And her drama teacher's like, you really need to be better. You are shit.
I don't believe you're a dog at all.
I don't believe your dog performance. It's terrible. You're the daughter of Sidney. And that's what I was talking about. He's like, you're the daughter of Sidney Prescott. You need to be more like her. She's amazing. And it's like, well, the only reason you're saying that is so that we think you're obsessed with Sydney, so that we look at you a little stranger. Yeah. Also, if the Ghostface reveal was something as stupid as your daughter's drama teacher, I'd be really disappointed in the screenwriting of this film. Another hint. But it's really stupid and serves for nothing because why would a drama teacher say that? Why?
It's like shockingly rude to this kid.
Yeah.
Who's your student.
You were also bringing up her mother's attempted murder of the nth degree. Like it's happened to her a dozen times. Why would you bring that up?
Yeah.
What a stupid character's decision because of bad writing.
Sydney goes to work at her coffee shop. We are introduced to Lucas Bowden, who is obsessed with true crime and Sydney specifically.
It's just the Culkin character from 4.
True.
It's just, I love these movies. I love all this. Or the Mindy from 5 and 6. It's the Kirby. There's always someone like this.
Yes, but this is the worst example of it.
Because we learn about those people
and from
seeing it. He just says, literally, I just really like true crime and I'm really obsessed with all that. Sorry.
Yeah, I watched a documentary about you last night. Is any of that true?
I whacked my ding-a-ling to pictures of bodies and stories you were involved in.
I need 5 espressos, please.
All of that is real dialogue.
I am a theater tech? Question mark? He said it with a question mark. He doesn't know what he is.
Yeah, he's a dead-eyed creep. Has he been in anything else, or is this his opening?
Yeah, so Lucas Bowden is played by Asa.
Sure.
ASA?
Asa Akira, famous porn star.
Okay, Asa, German.
Right.
He was in, funnily enough,
Oh God.
he's in Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, which is that Netflix drama,
Oh Jesus.
which is about a serial killer.
Is that Evan Peters?
Evan Peters. He is also in Gen V, the Boys spinoff, and then he's in 2 episodes of the next season of the Boys because they do a little crossover.
Okay.
But that's basically it.
Fine.
We're also introduced to his mother, Jessica Bowden, who's played by Anna Camp, who was in 23 episodes of True Blood. She is in the Pitch Perfect movies 1, 2, and 3, and she is in season 5 of the Netflix thriller You.
She's also in The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Yeah,
It's one of the places that I knew her from.
that's what I figured,
Yeah.
and that's why I gave it to you.
Thanks,
That's why I
buddy.
pointed at you as I said the name.
As we go on and talk about this film, as we reach new controversies, we'll mention them. The post-release of this film controversy is that Anna Camp posted on her story something like, see, you can't boycott greatness. Fuck you for your boycotts. We did it anyway. We broke records. And it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and then she immediately walked that back and was like, "Oh, Melissa, I'm sorry. I didn't mean anything by that."
It's just fucking like, ooh,
Yeah.
that's tone Helen Keller. Like, that is so bizarre. Not to disparage Helen Keller, but she was famously blind and deaf.
Oh,
Yeah.
she wouldn't have enjoyed this show at all.
Actually, she's probably the only one that might.
They being Sydney and Jessica, they talk about how they don't share any of their past with their kids.
Right.
And basically that Jessica had a really bad marriage.
She's like, yeah, you know about my abusive fucking husband, right?
It is the strangest. Again, the dialogue is
It is
awful.
written by AI. Sydney's like, yeah, Tatum's mad at me because I'm not telling her anything about my past because it's really dark. And it's like, without any exaggeration, this character is like, well, I mean, Sydney, you know about my abusive ex-husband. Remember him? And how it took me so long to get away from him, right? Because of how abusive he was. And it's like, what is happening? Are you guys, is this a dub? Are you speaking a different language?
And they're just like sitting in these chairs drinking coffee.
It's like, bitch, this is your...
It is so...
Sydney, you are losing money.
The way it's
Get behind the register.
framed, the way that it's all just...
Oh, God. And then
bad.
somebody named Carl, I think, orders a coffee and looks like a scraggly hobo and glares at the camera and there's a music sting. And then it immediately goes away and there's nothing said about that. And it's like, what the fuck was that?
I'm sure it'll have a great payoff.
No.
Oh.
It does have a payoff, but it has the payoff of like, if your rent, like let's say a third of your rent was like $800 to $900. You're in Florida, rent's expensive, whatever.
Yeah.
And that would be like you quote paying your rent of giving somebody like $14 and a bunch of loose change.
Wow.
It's like, it's a payoff, I guess, but it's not a good one.
No.
Not what you expect.
It is certainly not.
Low quality, low effort.
This is where our clip comes in.
Yeah, it
Because
is.
Sydney gets a little call from her old pal Ghostface.
Yeah, Steward Mocker. Yeah. He looks good.
He does.
Like the makeup. Somebody pointed out that the Stu Mocker mask that's in Scream 6, a big, if you haven't seen it, a big focal point of that movie is they keep finding Ghostface masks at crime scenes that are the original masks that belong to those killers that were brought from police evidence.
Yeah, Indiana Jones would say that belongs in a museum.
Belongs in police evidence. But if you look at Stu Mocker's mask, several of the gouges and lines in the mask he has in his face.
Oh, that's cool.
Like, especially the one over, I believe, his left eye. It's like, it matches perfectly.
That's cool.
I think that's
I
neat.
hadn't really noticed that.
Good for the props department to give a shit.
Yeah, the Ghostface voice is played by Roger L. Jackson, as we've said, who was Mojo Jojo in the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah. And Ghostface.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's basically all he's on.
He is also, I was looking up some other things. He is Mr. Narrator from The Book of Pooh. Did you ever see that on Disney Channel? The like puppet
Yeah,
one?
that's
I love
sweet.
that show.
But what if he narrated it as Ghostface?
Oh, I hope. He also was a voice in Final Fantasy X, Maester Wen Canuck, and then he is Lawrence Higgs in Fallout 4. I don't know if that's a character that you know.
No, not by name.
And then he is one of the 2 people who have been in all Scream movies so far.
Yeah.
Stu Macher is played by Matthew Lillard.
He's Shaggy.
He was in Ghoulies 3 in 1991.
Is he really?
He's also in 13 Ghosts in 2001.
A movie I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Scooby-Doo 1 and 2, the live action films. He's
Fantastic.
also voiced Shaggy in all of the direct-to-video movies since about 2010.
Yeah.
And then he's in Five Nights at Freddy's 1 and 2.
He basically said in an interview that Shaggy is his favorite role he's ever played.
Yeah.
And that anytime Warner Brothers calls and asks if he'll do it, he says yes.
Good for him.
I love him.
Yeah.
I love this man so much. It doesn't hurt that like he also like is super in D&D and like all of the things that he seems to like. I just want to meet him so bad. And I want to give him a little right on his butt.
Let's move past it.
Yeah.
But Ghostface or Stu, I guess, has now revealed that he is standing outside of the theater where Tatum and her friends are currently rehearsing.
Again, Nev Campbell's fucking great.
Oh yeah,
The way she reacts to this, the way it does the vertigo zoom into her face, and she immediately gets her gun and starts driving to the school. But this is what I mean when I say I really like Joel McHale's performance in this, because he is typically, from my experience with Joel McHale, he is a comedic actor, and he is not funny in this movie.
No.
He is stone cold serious. He plays a police chief, and he's fucking awesome. He's like, hold on one second. He's like talking through the window of his cruiser to another cop, and he's like, hold on one second. He picks up his phone. He's like, yeah. What? And it's like, I am on the fucking way.
Yeah.
And he yanks it into drive.
and he's like, send all of our units to the theater now.
Yeah. And the way all this action is shot, it feels really like, it feels like there's a lot of weight, which is why when it cuts to the dark of the school, it feels like Scream again.
Yes.
And this is where it almost buys me back. Matt Lillard, her reaction, the way it goes on. And then these deaths are good.
Pretty good.
And so it was like, this is the first and kind of last time I had my hopes up. Is like this whole sequence here.
Yeah. But yes, Ghostface. So there's a character named Aaron who is working with Hannah. Hannah is playing, like a fairy of some kind. And so she's being suspended.
She's on like a fly system.
Yeah. You've done theater. Aaron is the one, he's a theater tech. And so he's the one working that fly system.
Which, by the way, no.
Not how that works.
No. It might be. I don't know. I've never used one of those. But no, there's zero way that you let 17-year-olds use equipment like that unsupervised in a dark theater after school hours. Fuck no.
Gotcha.
They get fucking all these goddamn kids keep hanging themselves. Well, could you just turn the machine off? No, they need to practice.
They need to practice hanging themselves?
No, but for some, I don't know. Maybe
You only get the one shot at that.
maybe it's the internet. Maybe it's all these goddamn cocoa melons they grew up on, or their iPads or COVID. But every time I leave them alone, they go in there and they hang themselves in the fucking Peter Pan fly system.
Oh my God. It's an epidemic, really. It's sweeping the schools of this country.
No, that's gun violence.
That's something worse. Yeah.
The world is horrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue, please.
So yeah, Ghostface kills this kid Aaron.
Yeah.
And suspends her in the air, and then like uses that system to kind of fling her back and forth into some of the scenery.
Something I do like, though, is that he's clearly Ghostface. There's no getting, at this point, culturally, even in these movies, and it was kind of the same with 5 and 6. Fuck it. Every time I hear that, I think of Jack Quaid. Oh, shit, it's Ghostface. I just love it so much. But yeah, McKenna Grace turns her head and she looks behind her and she sees that Ghostface is just standing there moving the things around and immediately is horrified. Because it's like, well, the only reason somebody be wearing that is if they're trying to fucking murder me. So
I love his, like, he walks out onto that stage through that door and like down the stairs, and it's very dramatic, but it's very theatrical.
there is something about him in this movie that I think they handle in certain places. The character Ghostface, big air quotes, folks, it feels like it did in the beginning of the franchise, where it's like, oh God, is this supernatural? Like, and now I think that's because this film is fucking lazy and they don't care where he is. We had this conversation as well, where in the first movies, you can always track which one of them it is and where they are.
Yeah, it's pretty tight.
And in this one, it's just like, who fucking cares? He just shows up. But no, it is. It's like the swagger of that, like, nah. And I really like that.
Yeah. And then, yeah, like you said, this kill is pretty gnarly because as she swings back and forth to get away from him, he just starts like slashing at her limbs.
And she cannot move. She is stuck to this and is unable to move. He cuts her leg, he cuts her arm, and then as she swings forward to him that last time on that pendulum, he takes that knife, reminiscent of the opening. He takes that knife and he just sticks it in the air like a shark's dorsal fin, and it splits her like her. She's immediately disemboweled, and just hanging there dead. And then, motherfucking Sidney Prescott bangs in the door.
Yes. The one thing I want to say about this kill is, and I said this to you when we were talking about it, is that this feels like the Sarah Michelle Gellar kill that happened so early in Scream 2. It's closer, like this actress being in this feels like if she wasn't going to be Sydney's daughter, she needed to be the opening kill.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's like, it's one or the other. She's big enough of a name that she needed to be one or the other. And
what
so
I
it's
will
like, we
say
get
is
this.
if I had to pick away between how the two of them died, I do think I would take the Sarah Michelle Gellar route. I don't want to be split open like that. I'd rather fall.
Split open like a coconut.
Not even split open like a wet bag of meat.
Yeah. It's one of the most surreal images is like her corpse just gliding across in the spotlight.
Just dripping blood. Yeah.
but
With him
yes.
standing under it, doing the head tilt, looking up. The body performer for Ghostface in this was great.
Very good.
I don't know if it's the same as the guy from 5 and 6.
Yeah, I don't know.
But just really good. It's the head tilt. It's the physicality of it. Really good stuff.
Yeah. Like you said, Sydney shows up with the police. Ghostface flees.
I love this though, because what a character growth moment for Sydney from Screams 1, 2, 3, and 4 to now is just, she sees the body of a dead girl, maybe her daughter, and Ghostface, and it's just, you fucking, and just pop, 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 and they are close. And she is a theater's length away, and they are like hitting over his shoulder, and then he does that stupid fucking run. It's like, oh shit, and he gets the fuck out of there.
Yeah, like his legs spin in the air for a bit.
He does the Sonic the Hedgehog thing.
He kicks up a bunch of dust, and then he just right out that back door, and there's a ghost face shaped hole.
He goes, and it's Roger Jackson, so it's like, and slams through the wall.
But they find Tatum is safe. Everyone is then questioned by police.
Yeah.
And we begin, pointing out suspects. Sydney is like, she tries to explain to Mark, that Stu is the one calling her. And they're like, but that can't happen because he's dead.
And even she's like, yes, I know it's impossible. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing. But it's almost like that crack of doubt is showing up. Basically, anytime there's an interesting character moment in this whole movie, it is because the choice of a good performer, it has nothing to do with the script or the dialogue.
Oh, absolutely.
The only positive things in this movie are some of the visuals and the fact that they cast competent actors. Sometimes.
Yeah. And she also suspects Ben because he apparently is a computer tech of some kind.
He's a computer whiz.
Yeah. And I think Mark says, well, who cares? Like, anybody can do deep fakes these days. And it's kind of our first hint at the other big theme that we'll go into more as it's literally just spelled out to us in another scene in just a second.
Quite literally just spoken. Yeah.
That's how everything is revealed in this movie. Sydney, Mark, and Tatum go home. The police sweep their entire house, except, and they clearly didn't listen to our episode talking about Black Christmas because they would have known that the killer was hiding in the attic.
Yeah, I saw a GIF on Reddit today, and I think it's got to be from some sketch comedy show, but it's a blind man as a bouncer. And he's like patting people down, but he's completely blind. And it was just the cops checking the Evans house in Scream 7. It's like, yeah, that's fair. Because it's the one place you'd think to check. Like closets, attic, bathtubs. That's where you check first.
And he barely waits for them to even leave the house fully before he just lifts that thing out. And we're like, oh, well, he's up there. And then he drops down.
It's a shame too, because in a better movie that the visual of that was, it's framed really well and the lighting's really good and it means nothing. And I hated it. It was cool. And then I realized where I was and what time it was and what all the things I had seen before.
Yeah. They're packing to leave because I guess Sydney's plan is we're just gonna run from this situation,
which is the right call.
She's played this game a lot of times, but Ghostface kind of comes down from the attic and he gets Tatum at knife point.
Yeah,
and Mark attacks him and they kind of tussle, and he ends up getting knocked down the stairs and being knocked out at the base of the stairs.
Mark does.
Yes, Mark does. Thank you. Sydney then takes Tatum to a safe room to get away from Ghostface. And then they leave through like a secret exit to get out of the house. Now, the thing that I'm confused about in this sequence is because they seem to have a pretty, like this family unit, you know, her going through all the things that she has, even in recent years. They have a pretty good idea or plan of like, we have guns. We have, you know, Mark is like standing there aiming the gun, and then Ghostface is like, put that down. And so he lays the gun down. And then there's a lot of like, he yells drop, and Tatum knows to drop. And then Sydney pulls her. And it's like, there's a whole thing.
Yeah.
They know how to get the knife away from him. They know how to, you know, fight back.
The father of this family is a police
cop.
chief.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense.
And so they have all that sort of plan set down, the locks and the alarms and everything. But then whenever Sydney takes Tatum into the panic room, Tatum's like, what is this? Where are we? Why wouldn't she know that they have a panic room?
Right.
Why would that be the thing you keep from your daughter?
Also, why would the panic room have a kind of weird hallway that goes through the wall of the house and down into a secret hatch out the backyard? Why wouldn't it just close?
Or if you've got to get out, fine. But then if she doesn't know about the room in the first place, then has she never played outside that house and gone like, hey, Mom, what's this little hatch on the side of the house for?
Never go in there. That's where it lives. Where what lives? My past.
Oh, God. That's the thing you won't talk about.
Oh, God. I hate you, man. A couple things to point out as they're kind of getting through the kind of what like a crawl space between the walls.
Yeah.
It's very bizarre.
That appears in like a lot of movies, and I'm like, are houses built like this?
I don't know. I hope ours isn't.
You even see that in I think it's Evil Dead or Evil Dead 2. There's a part where the evil force is chasing him through the whole house, and he goes like into one of the rooms, bursts through that sort of like in between the walls section, and then out through another room.
Yeah, weird.
It happens a lot.
But he can hear them in the wall because they're breathing heavy and panicked. And so he's like stabbing through the wall, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen that before. And then the other thing
I
is
like
that,
when Sydney like hammers the knife
and like bends it so it hooks and gets stuck. And then the other thing to point out, third channel classic, baby. Ghostface grabs a motherfucking fireplace poker and starts ripping it through the wall. And it's funny because that happened and me and you start slapping each other. I was like, it's happening. It's happening.
Yeah. They listened.
Yeah. But ultimately this leads to nothing. They get out of the backyard. They start to run away. He has found them immediately.
Yeah.
He's chasing after them.
Mark and him like fight in the grass in their front yard. And then basically Mark knocks Ghostface out into the street. And like, I assume this is supposed to be a shocking moment to us.
Yeah.
But as soon as he falls into that street and the way that the camera then is set up, I'm like, oh, he's about to be hit by a car.
Right.
And
when he does, I expected it to be Tatum driving a car.
Okay.
Getting the family car and running him over. But it's not Tatum.
No.
And what that means is that the whole new subverting expectations that Scream always does with their killer reveal, guys. Like this is like the beginning of the second act, and we get our killer reveal already. And it's because Gail Weathers and Chad and Mindy from the last two, they accidentally run him over.
Yeah.
And they get out of the car and they're like, what's going on? Who's that guy? It's like, so you just committed vehicular manslaughter.
I think they purposefully hit him, but they just happen to be in the neighborhood. It's the timing of it all. Okay, this is where the movie loses me, and it's all downhill from here.
I'm like 100,000% sure that Mindy in the last two movies has said the line, nothing is a coincidence.
Probably.
Oh, but this is.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
The entire reveal is predicated on a fucking coincidence, but whatever. Go ahead.
I don't like this. Gail Weathers, played by Courtney Cox, who was Monica Geller.
Geller, yeah.
In Friends. She also is apparently an Ace Ventura pet detective.
Really?
I haven't seen that first one as much as I've seen the second one, so I couldn't remember. But yeah, apparently.
Yeah, she plays a horse's ass.
She is in the 2006 slasher film called The Tripper, which I believe was either written or directed by David Arquette. And then she's also in Cougar Town, the sitcom, and she is the other person who is in all 7 of the Scream films. And she's currently working on her a movie she's directing, an independent crime film called Evil Genius.
Interesting.
I don't know if that's her directorial debut, but she is working on that.
Gonna get a couple things out of the way. She is great as Gail Weathers, but doesn't feel like the same character in this. And they go into reasons why and the things that have changed with her. And I kind of understand that, but I do love the character Gail Weathers, and to see it change for something this low stakes and subpar kind of bums me out. And then the other thing, yes, Courtney Cox has had an awful lot of work done. I'm going to say too much.
Too much.
It looks unhealthy. It's a startling amount of plastic surgery.
Yeah.
She's always, from like my childhood, I've remembered that her always kind of having that, but this is beyond that. This is bonkers.
The other 2 people with her, Mindy Meeks Martin, played by Jasmine Savoy Brown. She was in Sound of Violence, a 2021 slasher. She is in the thriller series Yellow Jackets, which I haven't seen yet, but I really want to.
I also haven't. I want to.
She is in the 2024 drama Dreams in Nightmares, and she's reprising her role from Scream 5 and 6. And then her twin brother, Chad Meeks Martin, played by Mason Gooding, who was in the survival thriller Fall from 2022. He's in Y2K, the horror comedy from 2024. And then he's in the slasher film Heart Eyes from 2025. The
I still need to see that. Yeah.
It's a good slasher.
Yeah. My problem is I like both of these characters. I like them a lot. I like their chemistry. I like the way they work on screen as siblings. I like their performers an awful lot. And I like the characters, and they do not belong in this movie. They are only in this movie because Spyglass was trying to buy good faith. They are completely out of place to the point where when people are interacting with them, the one question that these people should be asking is, who the fuck are you? And they do a couple times and then they don't even bother answering. They're just like, we're just around.
Yeah. It's basically that. It's just like, and who are you again? I'm sorry. And it's like, oh yeah, well we were here last time. Did you not watch the last 2 movies? We were there.
Do you remember in Thor Ragnarok when Valkyrie, played by Tessa Thompson, is walking and Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner is there?
Oh yeah.
And Valkyrie has gotten to know the Hulk over a very long time on this planet. And then suddenly the Hulk is gone, but Thor is just hanging out with this guy. And she keeps going, who are you? I swear I know you from somewhere. And it's like that reaction. That's what every character in this movie does to those twins, is like,
pretty much.
Like, you guys are fun. Who the fuck are you? Why the fuck are you in our town, you fucks? It's like, whoa. No, it's not like that. It's stupid.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome. If people were cussing and shit. That would have been really cool.
But yeah, they unmask Ghostface here. And he is, Sydney recognizes him as that weird guy who bought coffee from her with a mean mug earlier.
Yeah.
And I mean his face, not a mug for coffee.
Right. They go, who is that? And she goes, I have no idea. It's like, oh, I guess it's over then.
Yep. But the police, thankfully, they quickly discover that his name is Carl Gibbs, and he's a triple murderer who recently escaped from a nearby mental institution. But they, this is the little bit that we get of kind of meta Scream talk from the twins of like, well, that doesn't make any sense because it's always somebody that you know. It can't just be a random person.
Right. I guess we should clarify here. The twins work for Gail because Gail is now an independent journalist.
Yes.
Working for some news station. She is her like field reporter or like researcher.
Yeah.
And he is a cameraman.
Right. Yeah, because we're told there's another reporter that shows up named Robbie Reyes. And he's like, Gail, how's it been since your show's been canceled? And she's like, I work in New York. I don't know what you're like.
She's like, who are you, puke?
Pretty much.
She flicks him in the dick.
And so Sydney explains to Gail, fills her in on the whole like stew of it all of, he seems to be back, still questioning that.
Mark her husband is like, well, it's done. We know who it is. We can go back inside. Like, we're fine now.
And Sydney also sees Ben and the drama teacher
in the crowd,
in the crime scene crowd. And then this is, I think, where Lucas and Jessica show up, who are then revealed to not only be just they know Sydney, but they live like next door to them.
Yeah.
And I think this is where we get our AI mention. Maybe.
Right. Is the conversation is like, oh, yeah, we think maybe they're using like a deep fake or something. And that kid says AI is going to be, it's like the death of civilization or something.
Which is a pretty bold statement for them to put in a movie.
That one of the biggest marketing partners of was Meta AI.
Yes. Another controversy for this film, a reason to boycott or stay away from it, is they partnered with Meta AI to either develop an app or part of an app that allowed you to send pictures of yourself in, and then you could be in scenes from the movie.
Right. Don't do that, guys.
Don't do that.
Don't do it. Please do not do not put in any health or relationship or personal information of any kind into any AI system, because there is almost no regulation. I'm going to not be on a soapbox about that. Don't do that.
Don't do it.
AI's bad.
There's almost nothing good that can come of it.
Go watch Terminator. Mm-hmm. Go watch that movie. It's good, and it'll remind you that robots are not to be trusted.
Then watch Terminator 2.
Also very good.
And then by the end of it, you'll put a thumbs up and you'll be like, some robots are to be trusted.
But then don't bother watching Terminator 3.
Yeah. Another little moment of like Gail and Sydney just sitting across a table from each other and chatting for a bit. That's poorly shot.
Yep. Her whole family was almost just murdered. So let's sit and have coffee about it.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of coffee. A lot of coffee talk. Gail explains, this is the one little bit of dialogue of just like, well, why are you here? And Gail's like, oh, well, I heard that the Mocker house had been burnt down. And so everybody was headed there to check it out. And so I knew that you would probably be in trouble. And so we came here instead.
I didn't think to call you.
Nope. And then also like, yeah, we just happened to show up at the exact moment that
Mark got him out into the street. Yeah.
Tumbled into the street. It's also revealed here that Gail has nerve damage from the events of the last two films.
Yeah.
Sydney doesn't want to get involved and is basically like, I'm done. I'm just trying to keep my family safe. That's all I care about at this point. And then they get another video call from Stu.
Yeah. Confirming that it's not just the one guy.
Yeah. Correct. Because that's the other thing that the twins are kind of like is like, well, there's always at least two, and it's typically somebody you know.
Yeah.
And this kind of changes her mind, wanting to figure out who is doing this. Tatum the next day wants to go with Sydney and Gail because they're planning on going to this mental hospital, and following along with the theme of like her Tatum trying to be brave and strong like her mother.
Yeah.
But they go to this hospital for more information about this Carl guy.
Now, this isn't going to be an interesting part of this discussion. Mm-hmm. You're basically going to have to get through this and quick, because I went to the bathroom and I have no idea what happens here.
This is the one moment. Whenever they get there, Sydney's like hanging up a phone call from the morgue, who is saying that they have no record of ever receiving Stu Macher's body originally.
Right.
And so Gail's like, well, how can we even trust that? Like, it's just a clerical error is all we can go on whether he's dead or not.
Right.
And so they end up in this mental institution, this mental hospital, and the supervisor there, Marco, answers their questions, shows them Carl's room, and he's got like all of these kind of like sketchy pictures that he's drawn, and they're all these like kind of almost demonic, scary sort of faces and women's faces and things like that. And then he has a framed picture of Tori Spelling. And Tori Spelling is the actress who played Sydney in Stab,
the fictional film
within a film.
Yeah. Okay.
And so he's clearly obsessed. And so they're like, hey, so did he ever mention having like being obsessed with like the Stab movies or anything like that? And the guy's like, no, never mentioned that. And then they show him a screenshot of Stu from the video calls. Mm-hmm. And they're like, what about this guy? And he's like, oh yeah, that's John. That's John Doe. He was here too. And apparently from what this Marco Davis, who's played by Ethan Embry, who was in the horror film Vacancy from 2007, the werewolf movie Late Phases from 2014, and the horror film The Devil's Candy from 2017. He goes on to explain, like, yeah, that guy is John. He showed up as a John Doe. He had amnesia. He didn't know who he was. And I think he came from California originally, and he lived in the room right next to Carl, and they were really close whenever they were here. But, and they're like, oh, well, what happened to him? And it's like, he got released like 2 weeks ago. And that's about all we got from that, is just building the story of
it being Stu.
Did Stu survive?
Why would they have believed that? What are the fucking astronomical odds that Stu survives that party in Woodsboro, gets his memory erased, ends up in a mental hospital in this random fucking small town in Indiana, where then 30 years later, Sydney moves?
Yeah.
Why would they have believed that?
Well, they read the script.
Oh, girls don't get it done. These girls aren't getting it done.
No, they'll get it done. Don't worry.
Okay, good.
Don't worry.
I was about to be sad.
Now, I did kind of for a second think, Kevin Williamson, I see you. I see you right here in this moment. Because I believe he wrote like a story pitch for Scream 3 that then didn't get used. A different Aaron Kruger wrote the script for Scream 3. And so, but I think the original idea, one of them kicked around for, I believe it was Scream 3, was that Stu was going to be revealed to still be alive, having gone to a mental institution and had like influenced a bunch of people there to become obsessed with Sydney and killing her. And so then they would go out as Ghostface killers, and he'd be kind of pulling the strings from behind everything.
Which would have been interesting at the time.
And so in this moment, I was like, oh, you're actually doing that. Okay. Maybe this ship is going to right itself.
And then it doesn't.
It doesn't.
She, being Tatum, sneaks out with a group of friends.
They go to Parker's Tavern because the town has been put on a curfew.
Right. Parker's Tavern is like a bar that the girl with dreadlocks Chloe works at, runs.
It's her parents' tavern.
I missed that detail entirely. And then they almost do the rules discussion. It lasts for like, Mindy begins to describe it, but there's so little substance that it basically doesn't happen.
Yeah, because that's the whole thing, is like Mindy and Chad are like, oh, well, you need to get all your friends together because it's probably one of them and we need to keep an eye on you. And so then they do this meeting, and the problem is that Mindy, like, her job is to give the rules of the horror movie and what we're kind of doing the send up to, but we're not doing that with this movie.
Right.
We're not making a farce or any sort of statement about a horror genre, subgenre of anything.
She says basically the same, almost verbatim, what she says in 6, which is they're trying to outdo it, so nobody's safe and everybody's in danger, especially the final girl. They really want to kill them off, and it's like, again, it's like where this is like the pinnacle of Scream movies, and this is what they all lead to, and this is such a great way to start your third act, and it's always so much fun. This lasts for a minute.
Yeah,
is recycled dialogue. Isn't entertaining at all, and all of the kids that are listening to her talk go like, "What are you talking about?"
Again, because it's that thing of like, "Wait, who are you again? Why are you here?"
It's like the Gen Z stare, like they're all looking at her, and it's just like whatever. You ruined even that for me. You fucking losers.
Unbeknownst to Sydney or Tatum at this point, Mark is ambushed and stabbed. So at their house, they have a section of that is being renovated.
The garage.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so he goes in there and
for no reason at all.
Yep.
There's like 24 plastic tarp sheets, like translucent plastic sheets, just strung like a labyrinth all over the place. There's zero reason for that.
You don't know. You don't build houses.
I'm not complaining. I honestly really like this entire sequence.
Yeah.
It's really great. He goes out there, he picks up some tools from a down toolbox, and then basically gets wrapped in these plastic sheets and stabbed in the guts like a trout. It's horrific and really suspenseful.
Yeah.
I was so into that scene until eventually they do it again. But right there, when it was the first time,
it was new.
It was interesting
for this moment.
Yeah, it was good.
But yes, Mindy goes on to explain, this killer is not obsessed with movies. Instead, seems to be obsessed with Sydney, but like young Sydney.
But there would be no reason for Mindy to have come to that conclusion at all.
Original Sydney.
What is she basing that off of?
You
can base it off of movies because she's a big movie buff, but you can't base a killer who you do not know's motive correctly. You can't guess that correctly because you know a lot about movies.
Mm-hmm.
The reason Scream is specifically different is because the killer's motivations are films. So film buffs like Randy and Mindy can guess them accurately. But this is being like, well, listen, I have seen almost all of Mario Bava's movies.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm able to tell you exactly why Ted Bundy is doing what he's doing. And it's like, well, hold on.
Wait, what?
How do you know that guy's name?
Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Mario Bava? They interrogate all of Tatum's friends in this moment. And again, it's just this very quick kind of like, Ben, you're suspicious because you know computers. And Ben's like, well, yeah, I'm looking at these things and I don't know if this is real or deep fake or AI or whatever. They're like, Chloe, you got no motive, which is just like Stu Macher. He was just doing it for the lulz. And then creepy guy Lucas, you're obsessed with Sydney. So because of what I literally just said, you're my prime suspect. And then...
Oh, yeah.
And then the weirdest exchange.
Yeah, because they're teenagers at a bar. And he's like, I'm not creepy. And then the Chloe is like, well, I like creepy. And then he hops over the bar and he's basically got his dick on her leg. And he's like, oh, you like that?
She's like, yeah.
He's like, well, can I have a beer?
You can have anything you want.
She's like, you can have anything you want. And there's like 6 people, including 2 strangers, just staring. And it's like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, teenagers are gross and they're all horny. Fine. That is a trope based in reality that is as old as time. Fine. But that was some weird shit. That was one of those moments where you and I turned and looked at each other like, what the fuck is happening?
Because it is, again, no one talks like that. This seems like it's written by AI.
Yeah.
This is not how people act.
No.
But thankfully we go away from there for a while because Sydney has finally accepted to do an interview with Gale Weathers.
This whole scene
on TV.
This whole sequence is so stupid. It equals out to nothing. It tries to play around with this joke that this reporter, Robbie, whatever, is Robbie Reyes is fucking ghostwriter, the ghostwriter that drives the Dodge Challenger.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I don't know if that's the same name, but he's like, oh, yeah, this is my new exclusive. This is what I'm going to do. I'm awesome. And Gale Weathers is going to help me do it. And then slowly the quote interview that she's giving Sydney, which by the way is just Gail being a dick about Sydney's kids.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not holding back. And oh God, do you think that was supposed to be like, oh, well, we've seen the new Superman movie and that scene where Lois interrogates Superman is like really like kind of powerful.
I think it's too close to a release.
Yeah. Because that's all I could think of is like, it's supposed to be like hard hitting journalism, but it's not. It just comes off as mean spirited.
Especially because this is a person that you've known for all the 30 years.
And also her kids have nothing to do with what's going on right now. Nothing. That would be like if somebody survived like a mass shooting and you're like, well, what about your children? Do you think you're a good enough parent? It's like, huh? Wait, why would you say that? I took one in the shoulder. Like, it's just so fucking weird. And then Sydney's like, I'm fucking done. And she gets up to walk away.
So that they can have another conversation on the other side of the room?
Right. Not on camera, which is, of course, when Stu calls back.
Yes.
When they're not on camera. So literally all of this is to get him on in an interview, like on the news.
Yeah.
And that does not happen. They take the call off the air and then they leave.
Well, yeah. Sydney leaves.
This set piece, the characterization of this news guy, the interview concept as a whole, all of that is for biggest air quotes I've ever done. I'm not even using my fingers, folks. I'm bending my elbows.
Oh my God.
Character growth.
Wow.
But it's not. It's just shitty dialogue, literally in an interview fashion. It's shot like a news interview because they're in a newsroom.
Yeah. And I would have no idea what that's like. But let me tell you, that's not how that would work at all.
No. You couldn't broadcast a FaceTime call live with just a random USB-C cable sticking out of a side table?
I don't think that's how it works.
Man,
I
you
think
don't know anything about the news.
I certainly don't. But yeah, Sydney, she leaves.
Yeah.
To go save. Because Stu has revealed that he is now standing outside, much like earlier when he's like, I am standing outside the theater where your daughter is. Now he's like, I'm standing outside of the pizza joint that your daughter is. And
what are those crank yankers?
And he's like, or she's like, no, my daughter's at home. There's a curfew. And he's like, she's a teenager. She snuck out. Are you high?
You dumb fuck. You big dildo. But yeah, no, it is so bizarre. Now, what I will say is that I actually like the FaceTime call. I wish it was not the Stu bullshit. It was just a ghost face mask.
Right.
That would have been cool. But I like the FaceTime. It is such a good tool to use in the era of phone calls to drive that tension just a little bit more.
Yeah.
You can't doubt him anymore. You can see that he's there, and I like that.
Yeah, and it is something that the Scream franchise has done because from the very beginning, cell phones was new in '96.
Always plays around with new technology.
And so, yes.
New technology and fictional technology, because that voice changer is impossible. But it's just cool shit. And I like that. And again, seeing Matt Lillard just he clearly had so much fun.
The scenery.
He clearly had so much fun.
Yeah. But yeah, Sydney runs outside and has forgotten her keys, cannot get in her car, so she decides to just sprint across town.
She doesn't go back inside and go, I forgot my fucking keys. Gail, do not fucking follow me. Because I think it's that she feels bad. And we discussed this. I think it's that she feels bad because Gail has like a permanent tremor in her hand from the stabbings. And so, I mean, that's totally responsible. It's like, don't follow me. I'm getting my keys. I'm leaving. But instead, in this town, she decides to run on her feet. This is the climax of the film, folks. This is the beginning of the end. She's running through town. So stupid.
Hope she makes it.
Anyway, one of the lines that I do like is that the two teens go into the back of this restaurant. We cut back to the restaurant, the pizza place. Two kids go into the back, and like everybody's kind of cleared out. Tatum and Ben go out to the car.
Right. That's where Tatum catches. Ben has been like, he's been making deep fakes of him as Stu Macher. But she like catches it on his timeline.
And he's got video. And he's like, Cindy, you fucking bitch. You stupid fucking cunt. And it's just like, why did he record all this? Why does he seem so genuine?
Yes. Like, because it was in the script. That's the only way that happens. Because if you were an actual human being and you were like, genuine of like, well, yeah, I'm going to test to see if I can create a deep fake. Then you could have it be Stu Macher singing Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Take the sunshine. But instead you're just like, I hope your bones all break. Your mother's a whore. And it's just like, what? Ben, calm down, man. Papa Zanny, be cool, have fun. But no, and it's just like, and so she bashes him in the face with a MacBook 15-inch.
Yeah, man.
Let me tell you, it is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have done that to so many people when we worked with those products.
Yeah, you ever snap one of those backwards in half?
No, but I know a guy who did.
It was me, guys.
His name was Beans Morocco.
Or Bean Rocco if you're nasty.
Oh, I am.
Oh, yeah, dude, you stink. So then it's one of the only lines of dialogue that I remember, and I thought it was actually clever.
Okay.
Is Mindy looks around and she's like, oh, God. Chad goes, what? She's like, everyone's left and it's just us. And without thinking about it at all, he just goes, oh, God, I don't want to get stabbed. And it's just like they immediately know something's going to happen. And it's like, I like that. I like that these characters kind of exist like in a ludonarrative outside of the movie. Right. I like that. But
they don't fit into this movie.
But that almost works for this one line. And I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
They do nothing with it. Also, this bar and grill has exactly one door that you could open to leave.
Well, and also you can be locked inside somehow.
You could be locked inside of a room where the doors are glass and there are stools.
Yeah.
Throw a stool through the door.
And they're just kind of wandering around in the dark, just like, man, where are the other doors in this place?
And she goes, well, one's in the kitchen. And it's like, smash the door. Hide.
Yeah.
Don't go in the kitchen.
Well, they do.
Yeah.
And then they both get.
There are two pretty gruesome kills here. Which I like them both.
Yes. Mindy and Chad are almost immediately, stabbed or sliced and left for dead in the middle of the kitchen.
Yeah.
Whereas then Chloe and Lucas are killed in these fantastic ways.
It's almost like they wrote them into the last minute because they agreed to take them on.
And then they, in the rewrites, were just like, ooh, but now that we're pivoting, what do we have to do with them?
Well, and they also can't die because they're going to use them again.
Yep.
So he gets like a stab in the shoulder and she gets like a cut on her tummy.
Yeah.
And no, Chloe is like trying her best to get away because Lucas gets knocked out. Lucas gets knocked unconscious. She's trying her best to get away, and it's the classic screamism of it all. She's hiding behind the bar. She's hiding in certain places, trying to distract him. And he like through smashed glass, like drags her through a sea of broken glass, cutting her neck apart. And she basically bleeds to death on the ground. Lucas then begins to wake up, and Ghostface grabs him by the leg, drags him almost in the same fashion, just not through the glass.
Yeah, because it's past her, because they have this moment of looking at each other, him looking into her dead face.
And he's so beaten and like near death that he barely reacts. Now, that's what I assume. It's probably more that he has dead eyes.
Oh,
and he's a piece of shit, terrible actor.
Yeah, there's that.
He's a piece of shit, terrible actor. I know that guy. He fucking sucks.
Oh.
This is probably the goriest kill
Yes.
in maybe the franchise. It surprised me.
Yeah, you were cackling over it.
Because it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, this is what I like about horror movies that are like Scream, is that this is fucking ridiculous. There is for anybody who frequents bars, a lot of beers will have their own taps. Screws in, and if there's a keg of their beer, the tap is interesting, meant to catch your eyes. Some people just go, that looks cool, give me that. And this tap is like a church steeple. It is a big if you've ever seen the film Hot Fuzz.
I knew you were going to reference this. Okay, good.
I'm glad. If you've ever seen the film Hot Fuzz, Timothy Dalton's character is a bad guy, and he's running through this small like miniature village, which is in the movie, and I don't understand why, but he trips, and the steeple of the miniature village church goes into his neck, like under your jaw, and it stabs and sticks through his mouth. It's like that, but instead of going into his mouth, it's like Ghostface picks this kid up by the head, and like at the base of the skull, sets it onto this steeple, this like miniaturized Washington monument, and it stabs into his brain, up out the top of his head, falling and sliding forward so that the beer starts to come through the fucking tap, and it is mixing with all of his blood and then just goes out of his mouth, and it is incredible.
Yeah.
I adored this kill. It was amazing.
It is very creative.
It is.
The closest thing I could think of is it is similar to the shower kill in My Bloody Valentine.
Yes. Okay.
With the water pouring out of her mouth.
Yeah, it was funny because we had just watched that and I didn't even think about that.
That's why it was on my mind.
Yeah, no, God. It looks great. And then another thing is that the reveal later on makes it infinitely darker. And I really like that.
Yeah.
I like almost nothing in life.
In life. Okay, good.
We
were on the same page.
I like the kills in this movie. I think they're creative.
Yeah. Ghostface is then chasing Tatum,
and they are running as fast as this film's pacing is getting us to the end.
Man, so not very.
See, and it's funny because once the things start to happen at that bar, it's like,
oh
yeah.
I don't like this scene. This scene really bothers me because she is running through the middle of this little like downtown ship of this, and they're on curfew. No one is around. We watched them all lock their doors earlier to Red Right Hand playing,
and which was great.
Yeah,
always a good needle drop. And she's running around screaming, "Someone help me!"
Right, and it's very Laurie Strode running to the neighbor's house and not getting an answer. But the problem is like she knocks out Ghostface at one point, like with a sign, like a sandwich board sign on the ground. And then she runs like, I don't know, 10 feet. And then she just kind of stops and starts screaming. And it's like, run forever. Run until your legs give out.
Here's something that I don't know if you've thought about, because I thought about it as soon as she goes into her mother's shop. And that's where you get the geographical understanding that she's close to that. Why didn't she just go there first? There are weapons, an armed security system that your family has access to.
You know the code to get in.
You can get into the office and barricade yourself, and you are certain of that. Why
were you banging on doors that were locked?
You ever just go there first?
Yeah, it does. Again,
it is like
this whole sequence bothers me.
It's like she's never been to her mom's job before, and she's like, "Oh, I've heard that. I've seen that on a T-shirt.
I do need some caffeine right now.
I could really go for 5 shots of espresso and to be leered at by an insane homeless person, and to hear about our neighbor's abusive husband. Remember that, guys? Remember the neighbor's abusive husband?
I do.
That's been in one scene, 1.5.
Yeah.
So
Ben pops up for a second. And he's like, oh, see, I told you it wasn't me. But I found you now. And so, and then he just gets stabbed to death by Ghostface.
And I believe it's unintentionally funny, but it is the funniest moment in this movie.
Yes.
Is he's like, I told you it wasn't me, man. You really hit me hard. And then just, and he gets stabbed like 5 times in the span of a Mississippi. It is fucking crazy how fast he's just wide-eyed on the ground dead. And it's just like, man, he should have run faster, but he can't because he's 70 years old.
And the death of this, elderly man that she was in love with causes her to run to her mother's coffee shop.
That wakes her up,
Yeah. She goes there and she's, which then causes Sydney to get a notification that someone has unlocked and locked her door at her coffee shop.
You're kind of playing with like the lock-unlock notification thing that 5 did, which I applauded 5 for doing. And I applaud this one too. You're playing with Ring cameras. You're playing with small business owners. All of these little intricate details that you needed the movie to set up for an interesting thing. But the interesting thing is that Tatum is now being talked through how to attack Ghostface through the walls of the office of this coffee shop based off of security camera footage from a phone. And all of that, which I think is fairly interested, again, is predicated on this grown woman deciding to run through a township instead of taking a fucking Uber.
Yeah. Well, they're on a lockdown, man. Curfew.
Get a Tesla self-driving car and let it drive you off a cliff so you don't have to worry about any of this. Have its batteries explode.
Get on a Segway. Have that drive you off a cliff and also die, like the creator of the Segway. Do you know that that's how I died?
I do. It's just an insane way to loop that into this conversation. I applaud you for that. That's good.
Thank you. I segued it right in.
Oh, Jesus.
Please murder me.
Did you say fire him?
My big question is Tatum's hiding in the coffee shop and Ghostface is right on the outside of the glass, but he can't see her.
No.
She's hiding.
Yeah.
And then she answers the phone or she's texting her mom and she's like, go in my office. There's a gun in the safe, hide in there. So she goes to do that. And then you hear the tap, tap, tap on the glass. And she turns around and Ghostface is standing at the glass door. And then he puts in the door code and comes inside. How does he know the door code?
Oh my God.
Like once it's revealed who these people are,
do we want to?
Why would they know?
I think we might as well explain that now because
it doesn't make any sense.
Okay, obviously I've hinted at this 50 billion times. The neighbor, Anna Camp's character, the neighbor who had an abusive husband is one of them. And then the other one is the guy from the mental hospital who makes up the whole story about Stu being a patient there. And their whole motivation is bad and we'll get there. Don't worry. But that's not it right now. But why would, because maybe because she's the neighbor.
I guess.
Maybe.
And if it's mentioned in dialogue somewhere of like, oh, thank you for letting me,
for locking up the other night or something.
Yes, I missed it completely, but I don't know that was a line of dialogue because all they were talking about is how we don't tell our kids about our past. Hey, I had a really bad marriage. You know that. You're my closest friend,
I guess
Sydney.
it's supposed to be like a red herring, but a red herring to fucking who?
I don't know.
Because that's the other thing that I pointed out to you, and I whispered this to you in the theater, is that once all of her friends are dead, there are no more characters that are new that it could be. Because these two characters that it ends up being, you see them for 5 seconds apiece. It's not a good reveal.
No.
It's not earned. It doesn't mean anything. No. It is the exact same thing of taking the mask off for the first guy, and it's like a crazy fucking like a guy from a fucking, as Frank Reynolds would call it, a nitwit farm. It's like, well, what does it matter?
Yeah.
These people don't mean anything to the story. When it's fucking Billy Loomis, it's horrifying. When it's Mickey, who one of the weakest ones, Mickey Altieri, it's still like, oh, but you're her friend. And why? Just because you want to? That's what's wrong with you? And it's like, even the weakest reveal, because I think the weakest reveal is that it's the roommate is Richie's sister from 6. Because like, she was barely in this. And it's like, that's this infinitely worse. So knowing the door, oh God, it's Mark. It's my dad. He had a child with my mother just to kill that child and my mother 18 years later for no reason.
Yeah. I mean, that's about as
Kevin
smart as
Williamson,
what we get.
We are mad and we are disappointed.
But yeah, Tatum she follows Sydney's instructions, goes into the office and gets this gun. This is another segment that's like basically in the trailer where Sydney is looking and telling her like, okay, fire to the left of the door. And she shoots a bunch of times, shooting Ghostface.
Also not unique.
No,
not a new. I mean, that was in fucking Breaking Bad. Like that trope of, you're 5 o'clock, bang through the wall. It's like, yeah, that happens. It doesn't make it any more interesting.
Yeah. The only thing here is that it's trying the emotional story of Tatum being afraid and having to finally step up and like fire a gun for her first time, to try and take out this killer who is after her.
Finally teaching her to defend herself.
Yes.
Fine, I get that.
But then she's like, you got to shoot her in the head. If you haven't watched the previous 6 films, that's a rule.
She's like, films? It's like, shut the fuck up, bitch. That is something that I for a second, I thought they were going to do it. For just a second. She's like, you got to shoot her in the head. You got to shoot him in the head. You have to do it. You have to do it. And I thought they were going to.
Right.
I was so stoked. I thought either Metal Mask, which I've waited for this franchise to do since 5.
Yeah.
Do that'd be neat. Or how cool would it have been to subvert your expectations, to meta remove the expectation? How cool would it have been if this is how we found out that there was a third killer?
Yeah.
Is she shoots that motherfucker in the face.
She thinks she's won.
And then the third one shows up.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
Which is more or less what happens because she doesn't shoot. And then that Ghostface sits up and chases her to the front door where another Ghostface is. And then they kidnap her.
And they're basically like to Sydney, like, hey, we have your kid.
You got to come home.
You got to come home. And it's not even
come
like,
here alone.
It's not even like a creative way of saying it. It's basically like, home's where your heart is.
Yeah.
Like live, laugh, love. Like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Eat, pray, love.
You got to go back to where it all began.
Fun, fucking, and food.
Woodsboro? It's like, well, no, your house here.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. Well, again, my car is at the TV station.
So I have to
I'm
walk.
gonna have to walk there.
And they're like, your energy bill is going to be crazy because when she gets there, all the TVs, the iPad, all the computers, everything's on.
Yes.
This is, I think, supposed to be interesting and instead is stupid. And I don't like it.
Yeah.
Basically, Ghostface begins to give a speech in Stu Macher's voice with Stu Macher's face. And that then transitions to Billy's mom,
Nancy Loomis,
from 2.
played by Laurie Metcalf.
Which is very cute to see her back.
Yeah.
I like her a lot. And then
Transforms
into Rowan Bridger.
Yeah. Played by Scott
Roman Bridger.
Played by Scott Foley from Scream 3.
The lamest of them all. So the fact that he's there, why not Richie? I probably wouldn't have said yes.
Yeah, I guess he didn't. No, but I do have a funny story about that because apparently Mikey Madison, who played Amber in Scream 5, told Entertainment Weekly, Entertainment Weekly, that Spyglass asked her to film herself for a 15-second cameo in order to put into the film. And she told them that her front camera was broken. And so they said, well, what about the back one? And she said, that one's broken too.
Hilarious. She seems cool.
Yeah.
Every every teenage actor that was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood has gone on to do amazing things.
Yeah.
And they're all cool people.
Yeah.
So then it goes from Roman Bridger. Then it transforms into, because remember, that's 3 Ghostface killers. Scream 1, Scream 2, Scream 3. So then I was like, oh, okay, it's going to go into famous Hollywood scab Emma Stone or Emma Roberts. Excuse me.
Yeah.
And then it didn't. It turned into Dewey for some reason.
Yeah. Because I guess.
Like, I died for you, Sid. It's like, no, you died to save Tara. What are you talking about? Did you see that movie?
Yeah.
I did. You died trying to protect Gail ultimately, but you mainly Dewey died to protect the Carpenter sisters. But no, he died for Sydney. And then it turns back into Stu for a little while. And then she goes outside.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, we're going to take it back to how it all started, which is a person watching their loved one be
Tied to a
killed
chair.
on a porch on a chair.
So she goes out there and fucking Tatum's in her porch or whatever, or her dirty porch. And so a couple things happen, and then we can put
we're to the reveals
until they make Scream 8, because there's no way they don't make 5,000 more of these now, because they got $100 million in spite of the fact that studio is basically filled with a bunch of assholes. Hooray!
But yeah, Ghostface is holding Tatum at knife point, and I did notice on the rewatch, my very legal rewatch, that Ghostface like makes her drop her gun, her being Sydney. And when she puts it down on the ground, she leans into the camera and we see the small of her back, and she has a second gun tucked in her waistband.
Oh, I saw that in the theater.
I didn't catch it in the theater.
Okay. You must have been, because they don't do a job of hiding it. I think it's supposed to be a wink to us.
Yeah. I just didn't catch it the first go round.
But yeah, no, I think that's clever. And then you have the first Ghostface reveal, and it's the guy from the mental asylum.
Which, as soon as that mask came off in the theater, I knew that you had gotten up to go to the bathroom during that scene. And
but
so
you
I was
don't know that I had seen that person.
And so I'm like, oh my God. Why is it hit? PJ's going to have no idea who this is.
Luckily, I went to the bathroom like 2 seconds after you met him. But I was like, for a full second, it was like, who the fuck is this? And then for a second, my brain, it's like the world slowed down around me. And my brain was like, oh, that might actually be interesting.
Be completely rando.
What if it's all just random people? And the horror that this movie introduces into the Scream lexicon is it doesn't always have to be someone you know. That the world is sick. And there might just be psycho. And then it's like, you? And it's like, oh, damn it. It's what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, I'm the guy from the mental asylum. Come on out here, Stu. And then a man's body wearing a ghost face mask walks up. And you pointed this out to me. And I'm going to give you this.
Because this bothers me.
Go ahead. Because it bothers me too.
He says that. He calls out for Stu. And then he turns around and we do this big reveal of like the garden gate swings open on its own. And then another ghost face sachets in. No, but it's like, okay, well, if there's just 2 of you at work here, the third has already been killed earlier in the movie. Who opened the gate?
They had a clicker.
They must.
They're playing with technology, baby. It was it was the clapper.
Yeah.
And so a man, clearly a man's body, walks out, fucking 6'1", broad ass shoulders, walks out, and then the mask comes off, and it is fucking 5'3" Anna Camp with her, and she's so cute. And until she did all that fuck your boycott bullshit, I like Anna Camp. I'm disappointed with that. But she just has she's pretty and bubbly. And so to see her, it's very reminiscent of Jill, of Emma Roberts. It's somebody you wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
And she's sitting there and it's like, let me see if I can do this right. Oh, and they also go grab Mark because Mark's alive. In spite of the fact that he was suffocated in plastic and stabbed a dozen times.
Hours ago.
It's very much like the Chad of it all, where he's been stabbed 75 times and he's just doing fine.
Just hanging out, chilling.
One of my favorite videos I've ever seen, apropos of this specific conversation, is a doctor being like, well, I mean, that knife is this amount of inches thick and you can see that he got stabbed here. It's like, no, there's 0 chance he could have survived that. And it's like, well, yeah, we knew that. It's the part of that's you made a whole video telling us that. Well, we definitely knew.
Yeah. I saw the movie. if the Marco reveal was dumb,
Yeah.
and then this Jessica Bowden reveal is also dumb, at least let's try and explain her motive as best we can.
I'm going to try.
Mm-hmm.
From my understanding, her motive is that she read Sydney's book,
Yes.
which is about recovering from trauma,
Mm-hmm.
and that Sydney Prescott always kills the bad guy at the end.
Yes.
And that's what motivated her to murder that abusive ex-husband that she kept talking about.
Oh, she mentioned that once before.
Right. She also killed her son. That's what makes it a lot darker, is that she probably killed her son or knew he was going to get killed and was fine with it.
I mean,
either way.
she says, because something is said about that of like your son. And then she's like, he was just like his father.
Did he hit you?
He must
Because
have.
maybe it's a you thing.
Yeah.
Maybe these guys are fine.
You've seen his dead eyes.
Yeah. You've seen how much he loves talking to people about their own true crime documentaries. But yeah. So yes.
And so basically when Sydney then disappeared from the public eye,
And they found out that there was a Ghostface killing in New York that she wasn't present for.
which is like the third time that the fact that Sydney wasn't in New York has been mentioned in this film.
It's in our fucking clip.
It's every chance they get. I'm just like, hey, by the way, you weren't in New York. You know
Yeah.
that?
You know, that's the Big Apple.
Ghostface killed some people
You're
there.
you weren't the Big Apple of my eye.
No.
My peanut eye, ghost eye. But anyway, don't come after us, whatever your shitty company is. It's fun.
Tyrion.
It's fun. Yeah. But then the guy is like, yeah, and that's when she checked herself into a mental hospital after she killed her husband. And I fell in love with her. And so when she was like, time to kill Sydney, I was like, let's do it. Oh, and we're not going to spend the time in this to talk about how we got the third guy to do it.
No.
That's still just assumed to have been from earlier.
Yeah,
but that was with Stu Macher, who's not alive.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess if they were both in there, then they influenced him in some way to.
I guess.
Again, not really explained.
But that's their motive. Richie was, I love Scream so much. I guess Stab, that I'm gonna recreate it. I'm gonna do what the newest movies couldn't do. I'm gonna do it the right way. And Amber's like, me too. And I'm so psycho and I'm so in love with you and we're so psycho and in love. It's like, great. And the next one, Johnny Seasons and his two fucking bastard children are like, you killed our brother and son and we didn't give a fuck about these movies, but he did. And you ruined our family, you've ruined our lives, and now we're gonna kill you. And we've been faking our lives to get close to you. And that's why we've been in this movie the entire fucking time. And that's a good reveal. And this one's like, we are strangers essentially, and I've been lying, and we were only in this movie for 2 minutes. I was like, oh, yeah. Are you sure? Couldn't it just be Gail finally?
Yeah.
And what's funny is that listening to me say, please don't bring Stu back, at this point, I would rather them have done that. That would have been more interesting.
That is, I guess, my biggest question is like, is that the better film?
Of the two?
To either have him be like, to bring him back, like the story that they kind of give us of like he was, had amnesia and went to an institute and then came out. Like, they sell me on that for a bit. I'm like, okay, like, I don't know if that's how I want it to happen, but if that's the reality I have to live with in the movie, I'm like, okay with it, I guess.
So if your question is, do I prefer that Stu survived, was in a mental hospital, got his memory back, got this guy out of the hospital, and the two of them started to go to work, or these two? Fucking swallow my tongue. I'd rather have Stu Macher. That would be more interesting. It would be more interesting to see them take the obvious stupid path and do it as best as they can, instead of doing this, which is substantively void. It's devoid of any and all meaning.
Yeah. The most that they're getting at here is this idea of like parasocial relationships and how people think that they know celebrities because of the things that they've read or seen or listened to of theirs. And they think that they know them and they get obsessed and then it goes bad. And this is like the worst case scenario of that.
Do you think that the celebrity and the influencer that you have a parasocial relationship with letting you down by what they're saying in public, do you think that's anything to do with Melissa Barrera? I don't think so, but you could apply it to that pretty fucking easily.
Yeah.
And that is Tone Helen Keller, and she's been dead for 6 years.
Yep.
That is crazy.
Most everything in this is.
Yeah. Big time. Anyway, it all amounts to nothing because then Mark is revealed to have a pocket knife and he cuts the tape binding Tatum to the chair. Really quick as an aside. Tatum is mentioned. She mentions several times, you name me after a dead girl. And it's like, yeah, Sydney, you had to kind of do that. And it is a little weird. Like, I know the movie's like, oh, what if she named her Tatum? But it's like Tatum got crushed in a garage door.
Yeah, she says that more or less in the film. They get an explanation at the end. She finally, that is their big, coming together moment at the end. Like, mother and daughter.
I still think it's crazy weird. But yes, you are right. At least they address it. But so once Sydney has seen that Tatum is free, she gets a gun from her waistband and she shoots balding mental hospital man in the face, dead. Yeah. Great. And then she has like a Scooby-Doo style classic Ghostface unmasked run around in her garage. So like I said, that really unique thing that they did earlier where they got to play with like shadows and they got to play with like the like opaque nature that plastic can get and a really interesting set piece. And they do it again.
Right.
But it's not as interesting. And then Tatum shows up.
Well, you see what they were doing is much like earlier in the film when they were like, let's just do those exact things that we've seen in the other Scream movies. They were like, well, let's do this, which you saw previously in that Scream 7 movie.
Oh, that's this movie.
Yeah.
They're like, we don't have any more money to rewrite this again. Just please do it.
Please run through the plastic.
So they stab each other with tools.
Yeah.
And then Tatum shows up and Tatum and Sydney shoot her like, I mean, if each gun holds 12 rounds, they shoot her 24 times. They unload both of those guns into her face.
Yeah.
Which is funny, actually, because like her face is like a pulp mess. Like there is no more face. It's like a jaw and some exposed brain material. And it's like, yeah, really, really a gory death.
Yeah.
And then they put Mark in an ambulance.
Yeah, and it's the Dewey of it all, like the little he lifts his head a little bit of like, yeah, no, I survived. And it's like, well, you shouldn't have,
but I'm happy he did.
Yes,
Sydney and Gail say goodbye.
Sydney thanks Gail. Gail is like, I understand why you left me and ran away and did this thing on your own. And Sydney's like, yeah, I should have trusted you more. You've always had my back. She had said something earlier of like, I stopped trusting even my friends a long time ago.
Yeah.
And so, they kind of have their little moment.
Actually, what's funny is it was talking about why she named her Tatum. And that was the last friend I could trust. And I think it's a nice, sweet moment of, no, I was wrong. I can trust you. The Meeks Martins get a little, they get to deliver the news finally. And she gets to be a reporter, which they barely cover and doesn't mean anything to the story at large.
And then Sydney finally tells Tatum, about her namesake.
Yeah.
And how the reason that she named her after that is like Tatum Riley was like strong and unafraid and did her own thing constantly. And that she really just hoped that her daughter would then take on those,
and was like, and you didn't. You're a huge disappointment to me. And then put on a ghost face mask and stabbed her a bunch of times while Billy Loomis's ghost did a tap dance.
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Well, that's what the AI wrote. And then that's the one thing that Kevin Williamson was like, well, no, not that part.
It's covered in those weird long dashes that ChatGPT uses. It can't do that. That's it. We fade out with a needle drop and the yeah, it might as well be. My God.
Yeah.
It's just a fucking mess.
It is.
Let's do it in our format. Derek, do you recommend Scream 7 as written and directed by Kevin Williamson and Gemini?
If you had asked me the night that we were driving home from the theater, and we typically when we watch stuff, we try and we'll have little asides and we'll have little talks, but then sometimes it's like, let's save this, keep that in mind whenever we're talking about it on mic. So if you had asked me that night, obviously I'm going to say no.
Right.
But on the rewatch, I'm still going to say no.
See,
I can't in good conscience recommend this film.
Well, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, definitely don't watch it if you can't steal it.
Yeah.
Steal it, guys. Torrenting still exists.
Yeah. Like System of a Down once said, steal Scream 7.
Yeah. You wouldn't steal a pirate ship or whatever. Yeah, but yeah, obviously don't pay any money to see it. But then we already made that mistake. Sorry. But then furthermore, it's like you're wasting your fucking time. This is what happens when this is the Star Wars Episode 9 of Scream movies.
Yes.
It is devoid of any and all inspiration. There is nothing inspired. It's lazy, John Keogh. It's fucking lazy. What I say is going to take us 2+ hours to say it's lazy. They do nothing well. They do nothing new. They do tired old tropes. And the only good parts about this movie are you happen to have talented people involved in the franchise. And then more importantly, Ghostface is a cool look and it's awesome to watch him kill people. And you've got a good effects team.
Yeah. And I mean, some of those kills are definitely, touched up digitally and it's very obvious, but they are still interesting to look at. And for the most part, they are still done practically from what I can tell.
Sure. Yeah. A lot of CG blood.
Yeah.
Lot of CG blood.
Yeah, and I mean, CG knives for the amount of like fast stabs that they're doing, but they've been doing that since, honestly, probably since about 4.
Yeah.
So, I can't
the
really,
end of the world.
yeah, can't really fault them for that. It's probably for safety more than anything.
Yeah.
To the actors. But yeah, it's like Neve Campbell gives a great performance. She still seems pretty dialed in.
Everybody that is an old head does really well.
Yeah. The Mindy and Chad, other than them just being pointless for being in this film, they're a bit too...
They're cartoons now.
Yeah, it's the Ned Flanderism of like whatever that trope is of like they've boiled down to one thing, but it's just how much they just bicker back and forth.
Well, it's the bickering, but it's also how much their presence clashes with the film at large.
Yes.
It's not even that they don't belong, it's that they are a hindrance to the story that is then being told.
Yeah.
Because and for some fucking reason the decision for this film was to make this Scream movie not meta.
Right.
Which
I have read like headlines that said that Kevin Williamson stated that of like, this one's not going to be meta. And it's like, Kevin, I think you forgot what a Scream movie is.
Right.
Because this doesn't feel like one.
No.
And if that was if that was what you were setting out to do, to be edgy, to be new, to take it in a different direction, I just feel like there are better ways you could have done that.
Yeah. That
would have still made it feel like a Scream movie.
Absolutely. I think my final thoughts on this are don't go see movies in theaters anymore. Let theaters die because drunk women fucking almost puke on the walkway out and it's disgusting and you hate it. Number 2, written and directed by Kevin Williamson is no longer a sign of any kind of quality in any way. And number 3, Free Palestine.
Yes. For certain. I think this is a movie that's produced by Paramount.
Yeah.
And you don't want theaters to succeed. And so with this buyout of Warner Brothers from Paramount and Spyglass, I think you're probably going to have your cake and eat it too, I guess, eventually here.
I don't know, man. A war started on my birthday. I'm basically playing craps with the fucking universe. Who gives a shit? Scream's bad now. We're at war. Who cares? Let's call this the Who Fucking Cares podcast.
Thanks for tuning into the Third Channel podcast. Please, if you have the time, rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any of your favorite podcast apps.
You can follow us on social media at Third Channel Podcast, and you can find me online at @DRosenberg.
You can also reach out to us at thirdchannelpodcast@gmail.com, where we check every message, we swear. Third Channel is hosted by PJ Minette
and Derek Rosenberg. Theme song and audio engineering by Fly Guy Ty.
The logo design by Bell DeVelco.
Episode artwork by Nathan Walkington.
Keep it tuned right here to the Third Channel for all things horror. And remember, don't touch that dial.
Egg salad and eggs.